I guess just Urza. I was looking at him like, oh, I wonder it's Urza something. Just Urza. That's impressive. You have just a straight name. What's up, bud? What's up, Jason? What's up going on? Is Joe ZX? I wonder how is that pronounced? Joe ZX? Leave Wizard on? No, I'm salty about Wizard, and I'm going to slander Wizard a little bit because I like when it came to the Dark Stars. My obvious favorite was Clown, but my second was Wizard, and I thought Wizard was cool. Can you hear me? Let me see. I'm talking now. Can you hear me though? Am I going through? I wasn't talking at the start. Usually I'm a little muted for a short period of time. But yeah, Wizard was neat, and then he ended up just being kind of bummish. One thing I'm a little salty about is I remember I got not an argument, but there was like a guy in my comments who was really upset that I mentioned that Wizard didn't use overclock. He used battle dress, but battle dress and overclock should be two different things. Kind of like how overdrive and battle dress are two different things, I would assume. Because otherwise, why would he say overclock? I need to go back and double check on some stuff. But I mean, like, as far as I know, no more Twitch streams. I've just been a little bit busy the last few days. I'm going to get back on it. I want to stream through Dark Souls, like do all the Dark Souls, because I mean Dark Souls 2 is the only one I haven't beaten, just because that one is the most annoying to me. But I need to get a new controller or find the one I have, because I have one of them, like the just kind of like cheap Logitech controllers, and they're only like $15, but like they're so useful. That's pretty much the only PC controller I've used for a long time. If I can find it, I'll probably do one this weekend. If I can figure out where it is. Otherwise, I gotta figure out another game to play. Just because like, I don't know how much people generally would enjoy like me playing like League and WoW. Like I still want to do some more of that on the side. I just haven't been playing as much the past few days, but I do want to. Especially because like I want to play during the next WoW expansion. I wonder how strong the Earth Dragon God is. I mean, he should be... I would assume stronger than, the weaker forms, like any of their human forms, or I guess Alderaan's weaker form, but he shouldn't be within that range of obviously them at full power, unless he got stronger over the last 100 years, but it seemed like he implied that he's a little bit rusty, or maybe just not limber, not at his full strength yet. Either way, I can't wait to see him in action. I actually have really wanted to get a good rock character for a while. The series Golem Hearts, that was one of the things I was really excited about that, is because the main character used earth, pretty much because he was made of rock. But I just thought that was neat, because it's not something you generally see a ton of. Like, earth characters are not treated the best when it comes to a lot of like, manga and stuff. Like, the closest we have in Fairy Tail otherwise was, what, Jura? And, like, Jura was cool, but, like, Jura never got even close to, like, what you would hope for like, an earth person. Like, you don't have, like, a Toph, like, somebody like this, just an absolute beast with rock in this series. Juro was for a little bit, but, I mean, that was, like, a million years ago at this point. Dogramag's gonna go Broly and Natsu. I hope so, dude. I want to see Dogramag grab Natsu by the skull and slam him into the ground, Broly style. I just want to see him use his size as just this overarching weapon. Not like, obviously he just, like, grabs and beats him. I just want to see him do shit that he can do because he's just bigger. Like I said, like his hand should completely cover Natsu's entire head. I want to see him throw him around like a ragdoll anytime he gets him. I wonder if the 4 Shining Stars have overclock of their own. I would assume so. Oh, no, because, no. 4 Shining Stars. No, I don't think so. I'm guessing overclock is new to them. Just because it was never mentioned before. Also, I'm curious to know if... After this, if Ziggy makes, because like there's some like oddness when it comes to like how Mishima worded it to see if like is Ziggy going to be done in this arc or is he going to be later. I figured he'd be longer than this, but there's at least some of the wording that made me think that Mishima was going to have Ziggy wrap up in this arc and then like have stuff with like Mother and the Chronophage in the next arc. But assuming Ziggy survives, I wonder if we'll get Wizard Mark II. Just because like I would hope that he'd bring him back better. I mean, at that point, maybe Wizard 2 will be better than Wizard 1. I don't even care. Like, look at Killer 1 versus Killer 2 or Brigandine 1 and 2. They're robots. They get cool upgraded versions. That's a big plus to them. Rackstream, well, thank you very much, Demon Dragon. I'm glad that you're here for it. Raditz is strongest paper mache or Raditz. I mean, pretty much. Like, the dude got bodied. Overclock and Battle Dress seem like the same thing. But I feel like that's kind of weird because it's like Overclock it seems to be just a different version, like their own invented version for Overdrive, and Battle Dress we know is a separate thing. So, like, to me, it'd just be really weird for it to be the exact same power-up. I don't know. But I guess, like, the only character that really benefits both is, like, what, Homura? Because she has the battle dress and she has overdrive. And I guess now she has robot suit, too. Who still has better handle than God Serena? I don't think so. Because, like, God Serena losing to Acnologia was one that was, yeah, that's gonna happen. Wizard getting bodied like that, I don't think should have happened. Because the characters like that should have been earlier before we got to Lendar. That should have been, like, what we saw on Blue Garden and stuff. Wizard shouldn't have been a character that was just a measuring stick. Like, he's directly in Ziggy's big crew. He has important lore to Witch. I feel like he should have had a more memorable fight. If he's supposed to be like a character with important story background, why kill him off like that? God Serena has the fact that he doesn't have the same level of story importance, even though he was a bigger character in like terms of like current events. He doesn't have stuff like directly relating to, you know, a core character like Witch was. I mean, like I said, like even though I wasn't a huge fan of how Witch was handled in the end, I think that she obviously, you know, was still a core character. She was obviously somebody that was, you know, built into the main cast. What's up though, Happy the Assassin? Is this like, I want to see your picture. I can't see it. It's too small, but it's like, I'm just imagining like Happy wearing Jacob's suit with a bit of his face. I think it's interesting how much importance Mishima's putting in the fact that Ignia and Dogramag are friends. I've liked that a lot. I thought it was a really nice touch for his character that he has just one buddy. He's got one friend that he's at least like, I can count on this guy. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I thought that was neat because it gives him a little bit of that humanization. And he's not a human, but you know what I mean? Where it kind of just, it gets you understanding more of like seeing him more as like a character rather than a caricature. Because, like, Kyria, one of the things I've really liked about Kyria is the whole stuff with Laxus. Because it's similar to, like, Urza and Jalal, where when put in that scenario, it completely shatters, you know, like, shatters Kyria's whole, like, berserker swordswoman thing and shows that, you know, side to her that's actually just, like, her core emotions. Like, you know, she's embarrassed in front of the guy she's got a thing for. Stuff like that I've always enjoyed because it grounds the characters. And Ignia obviously isn't, like I said, human, but I think it does benefit him to have something like that where he's got a comrade. He's got at least one person that he, you know, has that he can rely on and stuff. And it, you know, it makes him feel a little bit more grounded, like I said. Wizard was never going to beat Shiki. So the thing is, like, I didn't think he was going to beat Shiki. I never thought he was going to beat Shiki, but I thought he would have a better fight. That was the thing to me that was weird. Like, he had a couple moves that were neat, but, like, even this, like, attacks he did were pretty, like, they were super basic. He's just doing elements and stuff, but, like, the momentum started out pretty good. He's, like, using wind to move around, using different elements for, like, different kind of, like, general utilities. I thought that was good, and then suddenly it just kind of abruptly ended, and he got beaten like a, you know, like a measuring stick character, like a character fresh out of time skip that he just kind of existed to give a level to Shiki. Because it'd be like if Blue Note didn't have the fight in the first place on Sirius Island. Where it's like, yeah, cool, you know, obviously, like, he's gonna lose to, like, the character. Well, it's way more surprising for Natsu did to Blue Note than what Shiki did to Wizard. Everybody went into the Shiki and Wizard fight like, yeah, Shiki's gonna body him. But Wizard, just, like, I thought he would be more of a relevant and lasting character. Because, like, the connections to Witch, it feels so weird that he's already done. Because, like, it's the same thing when I said about Nero. It's like, you think a character with, like, more importance and more relevance would be, you know, would have a little bit higher standing. I'm not going to complain too much because, you know, as I've said, I've had my stock in Clown. I've liked Clown. I thought he was cool when he was first introduced. I've really liked how he's gone so far. And so far, the one that I picked has been the best member of the Dark Stars. I know some people like Killer. I'm okay with Killer right now. I'm not really against him, but at the same time, I'm not really for him. I'm just like, okay. Clown, though. Clown's my guy. Clown is absolutely my guy. Or Dragon is going to throw some hands. I can't wait. Dogramag is going to rock Natsu like a hurricane. I can't wait to see some of his attacks. That would be really cool. Imagine he's doing like a rock tornado and it's just like stone everywhere and it's just swirling around in a giant vortex. I can't wait to see some of his attacks. I hope Mishima, like, I don't need Mishima to do crazy feats. I don't want to complain because obviously like, crazy feats would be cool. I'm hoping he just gives him like cool, unique styles of using his earth. Like, I want to see, actually, not just like the unique ones. I want to see some of the basic ones. I want to see him like swing a punch, hit Natsu, like Natsu blocks, and then like He thinks it's good, and then this giant earth fist just kind of like comes overhead and just kind of crushes him down like a nail. I think that would be sick. Oh, Godzilla enters the fray, needs a fight. I don't care if he doesn't beat Dogramag himself, and he needs to do something. I want him to fight Madmol first. Like, I know Madmol's goofy, but the thing about Godzilla that was a big plus for him in Drasil was when he was using his durability to his advantage against his fight with Natsu. And a fight between him and Madball, where it's like a battle between two really durable characters, I think would be really cool. And you could just have more of, like, I don't think it'll be the same as, like, Dante versus Magna, but something that's, like, way less kind of big, giant attacks, and there's going to be more hand-to-hand, some more kind of just general choreography. And plus, I think Madball needs it. Like, Madball really hasn't gotten, like, anything all 100 Years Quest, and he's been here from the start. And it's like Madmol's been showed up by all these other characters, but I think it'd be really cool. And if like you give Godzilla like a medium level difficulty fight against Madmol, have him win, that'd be really sick. And then on top of that, then move him to the fight with Dogramag. I think that would be way cooler because I'm expecting Natsu to be relatively fine against Dogramag in his human form, but we know that the difference between their human form and their dragon form is huge. Like it's a giant gap. So at that point, when he goes dragon, I want other characters to show up and join the fight. I think that'll be really cool. And if we get something like, you know, Natsu is able to fight him in his human form, but like dragon form takes pretty much everybody there to beat, I think that would be a really good indication of like the gap between those two positions of like, you know, the human form and the dragon form. Georg was another example, obviously, because he was stronger than Suzaku, and Suzaku's strong in human form Celine. But I think something that's a lot more kind of like outright shown, that's just direct like this, would be really good. Oh, we need a manga main character that uses ice. I feel like I can't think of any though that uses ice. The thing is like there's not a lot that use the general elements. Like I know this you count like Avatar and stuff, but I mean like not a lot of characters use the general elements. Like I remember like I watched somebody like mention something about Natsu once, and that was one of the things they brought up, and like that's actually kind of true. Like most of the other characters don't use it. And I'm not going to count Haru, because Haru has blue crimson. Like, no, it's not the same thing. Stream Pokemon Legends Arceus. I don't have one of the capture things. If I have one, I'll do it. Or like if I get one. I mean, how much is one of those? Do you know how much one is, Jason? If you tell me. Like, if we can eventually, like, maybe like at some point on a stream, if I can get enough to, maybe I'll do like a stream where it's like, hey, these things are X amount of dollars. We're gonna stream and try and stream until we get enough, and then I'll buy it whenever I get my YouTube check next. Then I can do that. But I'm just not trying to get I'm not trying to go too crazy on my Twitch to where I buy a bunch of games and spend a bunch of money and then like it doesn't go anywhere at all, and I just waste money. I mean, I wouldn't mind obviously if it's like if there's some form of like setup to kind of like it's like I can't remember. It was like I think it was like somebody I was talking to. It was like there was a game that I wanted to play with them, and they didn't want it. It was like $5. So I just bought it for them. Like, there you go. Cool. Let's get to it. Godzilla ain't beating him by himself. Yeah, there's no way. Godzilla, at best, if he achieved true Dragon Force, could beat human Dogramag. But that's like a big. It's like a big stretch, but it's just enough in the area of believable because we know how much of a boost Dragon Force gives. Are you still continuing God of High School? I am. I have the tab open still on my phone. I just haven't read it recently. I'm going to, though. I've been a little busy because I was doing some job applications and stuff. Because like I mentioned, I recently moved. And I finally started to get past my laziness. And then I'm just trying to start kind of working again. But I'm going to kind of do that in between. I just read the newest... one day I'm going to remember how to pronounce it. Gachiakura. I'll probably read a couple of God of High School chapters like this weekend. I'll probably try to do it like that, where just every once in a while I'll read whatever, like 10, 15 chapters and call it good. Even Gojo's hair looks like Raditz. I mean, Gojo, though, is way more akin to Vegeta. Like, there's a lot more stuff to make it more similar to Vegeta than he is Raditz. Like, the fact that similar to, like, how Vegeta always calls Goku Kakarot, you always have Gojo calling Natsu Salamander. It was nice to see Quan credible in the recent 100 Years Quest chapter. It's crazy that Quan is in the series, but he still downplays it all the time. I'm still dealing with Quan saying that Natsu never burnt time and Zeref never harnessed time. I don't get that. Like, there's so much context and build up and information for that, and it's just crazy the fact he's still brushing it under the rug. Like, he even differentiates between, like, his magic and time itself. Do you find it weird the Wrestling Center Snow didn't get any new member to replace Jaguar after 3 years? Has it been mentioned that they haven't replaced anybody? The cosmic government wouldn't let its forces, let its force unit be weakened. Have they mentioned anything like that? I haven't really thought about that. I know about the Galacticas because obviously Shiki became one. But it's actually kind of more confusing because 2 Galactica went down, right? Drac and Joe got arrested. I mean, maybe Drac and Joe will come back, which would be great for me because I love Drac and Joe. And Nero's dead. So maybe that's why, because Drac and Joe's locked up. But you got a good point about the whole Jaguar thing. I'm not going to lie. I never really thought about it. I'm still a little mad about that. Like, but not about Jaguar. I'm mad about Fabiano. I really like that guy's ability. Like, his ether gear had the whole crystallization. I know it was like, I can't remember the exact crystal because it was like a crystal that was made for Eden Zero. That was cool. I liked that. I wanted to see that guy fight. I thought the whole just like crystal hands and he was punching people was neat, and I wanted to see where it went. And then Jaguar beat him, and I was like, oh, well, okay, well, maybe Jaguar would be cool. And then Jaguar gets beaten immediately. Made me sad. He said Shiki and Ziggy would be settled this arc, but I don't think it means he'll be done. It could mean that Shiki would be fully ready to kill him, as we still don't know if he is now. The problem, like, I can see that too. The thing that kind of gives me a little bit of problem in thinking of that is, like, we know Eden Zero is around halfway, so it's like there's only a couple arcs now, and I feel like everything after the time skip is going to be longer. Like, I feel like this arc is going to be longer than the previous ones. Kind of like how, like, up until Sirius Island, the arcs in Fairy Tail were only like 20-something to 30 chapters or so. And then we get to Sirius Island. It's like 50 or so chapters. Then we get to Grand Magic Games, Tartaros, Alvarez, and then now 100 Years Quest, where everything is a lot longer. A little different with 100 Years Quest because it's not like an arc. It's more like a saga. So like each of the different parts in the story are like one overall mega story. Kind of like how Dragon Ball does it. I was majorly disappointed how they handled Celine. Killed all of her hype. Not really. The thing is, like, Celine, here's the thing. A character losing to another character at their level, like, literally at their level, who took an opening like that, I think is fine. Because it's not like Suzaku just cut her down, or Kirin came up and bashed her with their coffin. We know that the Dragon Gods are equal to each other. And the difference was, Ignia found an opening, he went for it. And I think that makes sense. Like, it really just depends on if Celine gets killed off or not. Dogramag looks cool, but he's weird and Celine, so it doesn't make up for it. I mean, doesn't really matter because, you know, as long as he's strong and an opponent for the main cast and, like, the protagonist, who really cares? It doesn't really matter if she's stronger than Dogramag. But I don't think Celine is done. And I think Celine will come back and be fine. I don't know if you misheard, but Wizard isn't dead. Shiki didn't want to kill him. I mean, yeah, I know, but I mean, I feel like if he makes it out of there, he's got to be upgraded, so he'll have to become Wizard Mark II. Think Celine is done for with the Dogramag being added to the story? No, I don't. I don't think Celine is done. There's too many important things around Celine, and I think Mishima was setting Celine up to be more of like a dragon that becomes good, and then have Dogramag be like a surprise villain and like put more of Ignia as like the larger scale villain. Because Celine, as I mentioned, Celine is still within that fine line where she's not too far gone. She's still a problem, but she's not beyond redemption. Whereas I think Ignia might be... like, Ignia's at that spot where it's like, yeah, he's kind of beyond redemption. Like, the dude's melting countries for fun. Dogramag's human form has big, strong daddy vibes. I mean, I guess if that's what you're into. I mean, it's even more concerning. People compared him to Quan. Or do you follow Quan? Quan, you might want to block this guy. Ignia and Dogramag are like mood, kindred. I don't know if I know that reference. What's up, Quan, though? Quan says you're again. Quan the down player. I was so mad at Quan. Quan was debating Faith, and he was upset Faith was like ignoring stuff directly on panel. But then it's like you have Zareth and all the times where time itself is being mentioned and manipulating time itself, and time itself is burning. And it's like, how do you downplay the facts? How do you downplay the facts, my guy? And then they're talking about Saitama, and they're ignoring all of Natsu's feats, and I knew that was going to happen. They don't even read 100 Years Quest. Sabo was doing one of it, and Sabo doesn't even read a fairy tale. Like, he's never even read it before. When is the English chapter 100 Years Quest? I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm waiting for it, too. Hey, guys, remember to click that like button. I would appreciate that. Thank you very much, Ashizura. I would also appreciate if you guys, click the like button. You don't have to, but, I would really appreciate it if you turn up the like button, if you subscribe. And, if you feel like donating, you can. I got to do that shill. But if you don't feel like donating and instead you want something different, you can become a member for there's two different tiers. There's a $1 tier and a $2 tier. You get a badge. I'm actually going to stay up tonight and add a couple more badges and a couple more emojis into the chat. Let me see. Where's the emoji that I have in the chat? I know I have one in here. I have like, oh God, where's the emoji I have for my people? Here we go. This is the one I have right now. I have my Smug Natsu one. I'm gonna put it in there. We'll talk about more when I get a couple more. I have some picked, but the only issue was like for some reason they YouTube like they have to be 1-for-1, and I have to figure out how to do that from just like Photoshop or how I can do that easily, because I have emojis and stuff I wanted to use, but they weren't in that 1-for-1, so I have to pretty much mess with them to make sure they fit. What's your ideal English voice for Clown minus Mark Hamill? I mean, that'd be pretty neat. I'd probably pick that if that was possible. That's a big jump though. Mark Hamill is obviously like he's one of the upper voice actors. What's on your opinion on the White Wizard 100 Years quest? What do you think his goal is, or do you think it's related to the god in Kieran Coffin? Oh, no, it's not a god in Kieran's coffin, it's a king. My suspicions have been that Eleftheria was the White Wizard the whole time. There's some stuff I think that relates to it, like the fact the White Wizard's been around for around 100 or so years, and that's how long Eleftheria is. The whole fact that he's trying to seal the dragon gods and seal these powerful beings kind of like aligns with that whole thing that Rebellious is doing with like erasing magic in the world, trying to like get rid of like these large quantities of magic and things. I think that if he ends up being somehow connected, it wouldn't surprise me, because otherwise it's like gonna have to be like a completely new character, I would assume. Earth Dragon World would be cool. I wonder what it's gonna be like. Would it be like sand, or is it gonna be like propelled boulders? I think that'd be sick. I would love to see like giant rocks. There's like massive boulders like shooting through mountains like fucking BBs through paper. Something just kind of like excessive and just kind of like visually looks really cool. That's more of my big thing that I'm hoping for in the fight. As much as, like I said, as much as I would like to see some cool crazy feats, I'm just hoping that like some of the stuff that does, like, that it looks visually good. That it's like one of those things you look at the panel like, wow, this is just really cool this is a cool spectacle to witness. Like if you saw, say, Dogramag, like imagine like you looked over and you saw like what looked like the mountains rising, but it's like instead imagine like if from horizon to horizon he just makes it like the earth lifting like a disc and he's flipping over that entire set of terrain. That's not crazy in terms of like if you actually look at feats in Fairy Tail, like it'd still be pretty impressive, but like for a dragon god, not even close. But it still would look really cool, and it'd be one that would just kind of give that sense of scale. I'm excited for Natsu versus Dogramag because I like it when Natsu gets into Slugfest instead of does semi-puzzle fights with a Hacks opponent. I agree. I mean, that's one of the things I've always enjoyed is when like we get into Dragon Slayer fights. I mean, this is a dragon evolved and he's in a humanoid form, so he's borderline. He's not a Dragon Slayer, but he's pretty much going to be fighting like one. And I love those. I love when they just get into big battles, like just brawls. Who cares about Mad Mole? I mean, I do, but I mean, that's the things. Like I understand why most people don't care about Mad Mole, but I like Mad Mole. I guess not, but Lax at the same time as Scullion. I mean, yeah, but they were gonna lose. There was no way they were gonna beat Laxus. That's not fair. That's like if you put Kyria up against Urza in a serious fight now, where Urza's not gonna get hypnotized. It's like, yeah, she's gonna run through Kyria. Like a character losing to somebody logically they would lose to me is not a bad thing, because it's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course they're gonna lose. Like that's not fair for them. It makes sense for them to lose, and I think what makes sense is more important. I agree. Clown and Killer are my favorites. Yeah, Clown is sick. Killers. I like Killer so far, but Clown is definitely my guy. Killer just makes me think of Yukio from Bleach. So if Wizard is the weakest Dark, that means Rebecca beating Clown himself would be more impressive than Wizard fought Shiki at 10%, and it would show how far she's come. I would agree. I think that'd be really cool. But I wonder what she's gonna do now, like, because if she reverses time, that's gonna mess with events, and like you can't really do the whole Cat Leaper thing with certain events like already shown. Like you got to keep it in there, because like like she would go back and then all the stuff that just happened with Shiki would have to do over or something. I think Mishima could literally just kind of like reverse it, show Shiki right beforehand and then show him again later after the fight. I'd be fine with that. But I mean, it's just a little weird. People keep assuming Lucy is gonna get Celine's powers. I don't think so. That's weird. Like, legitimately, if anybody gets any of Celine's abilities, I still think it's gonna be Jalal. I don't think Lucy should get it. If Lucy didn't have Stardust mix, I would agree, but she's got her own thing. You still haven't proved how Lucifer is stronger than Silver. Lucifer has better feats. Silver's best feats are multi-mountain level. Like, his best feats are freezing over the Sun Village. And Lucifero is just outright stronger. And even if you give that Devil Slayer boost against demons and devils, I don't think it's gonna cover that gap. And Lucifero just has the physical strength too. I think I think Silver can fight Lucifero. I don't think Silver can beat Lucifero is the thing. And here's the thing. I like Silver infinitely more than I like Lucifero. Lucifero is a fucking bum. He's like one of the most lukewarm villains we've had in a while. But I'm not gonna lie about it. Like, the dude's got better feats. He's got a better standing. Some people are saying that Irene would get Celine's body, but considering Irene doesn't want a dragon body, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, people keep thinking that she's gonna take it, but it's like that would completely destroy her whole opportunity that she's finally at a spot where she can get away from her dragon body. You should stream a Pokemon Nuzlocke? Maybe. If I can get one of those capture cards, maybe I'll do that. I actually have barely gotten into Pokemon Arceus. I'd even be willing to restart. I only got to like an hour or so in because I got the new Kirby game, and I mean, Kirby's gonna override Pokemon for me. I love the Kirby games. Like, I'm kind of disappointed, getting crazy DC feats from Brigadine, Den and Crow given their size and power. Brigadine, I just want to see more defensive stuff. I'd love to see just more kind of cool. It's kind of hard with like durability stuff unless you come into it with something. Unless like Homura reveals something new. Like, say like Homura is able to kind of like, maybe Homura has other stuff besides her lightning claws. Like, maybe she's got a couple other different weird swords, and Brigadine will have like cool defensive stuff. Dead and Crow definitely should get some cool feats. I want to see Dead and Crow like literally pick up a skyscraper and hit somebody like with it like a bat. I want to see cool stuff like that. I just want to see stuff that like uses his scale for like just the general purpose of showing like how big this dude is. The theory I had was that Team Natsu is going to either take a break from 100 Years Quest or go on their quest, for example, Lucy finding the location of the Aquarius Key, or Natsu finding Ignia 1v1. I don't think that'll happen right now, like, because, where would they go into a break? I could see something like that, like some form of a little side quest for a couple chapters, but the problem is, if you had something like, okay, we're gonna go on a completely set up different thing, there has to be a really good reason. Like, they're contracted into this quest. Like, maybe there'll be like an arc where they don't have clues and they have to go on it. Like, imagine it's like after this point, it's like they get through Dogramag. We don't have Ignia yet. Remember, they're gonna get Viernes and stuff beforehand, and they have to go on an arc similar to Elentier, where it's like before we get to Viernes, they have to do an arc where they find out about Viernes and stuff. I don't know. I think that makes sense. I've reread some of the first chapter and it's the that Lucy defeated Kyria. She shouldn't. What do you mean? How did Lucy not make sense to defeat Kyria? Lucy had the knowledge. She's powerful enough. The only difference like between Kyria and Lucy is Kyria in a 1-to-1 scenario is gonna be way more offensively set. Lucy though is not she's not a direct damage dealer. She's a tactical fighter with a lot of utility. All of her big stuff comes from specific spells that are additional in what she's achieved. With Aratometria and Godfrey, these are things within the branch, but they're things that she has had to gain outside of just like the keys. Madden will have that stupid vibe with his design. I mean, he's goofy. Like every single Mishima group has a goofy guy. All of them. There's not one single group that has all serious stone cold people. There's one goofy person in them. Madmo is that guy for Diablos, especially the main trio, and I'm fine with it. I like Madmo. I think he's a nice guy. He hasn't been evil. He hasn't been too crazy. He's just been this durable dude. He's got a cool design. I like his suit of armor and his weird Buddhism ears. I think he's just neat. Meliodas the Darkness using main character. I mean, yeah, Naruto's using wind. Yeah, but Naruto is like using wind in quotes. Like he's kind of doing it, but that's like counting like when he used the lava rasa and shuriken or something. Now he's see this. Ichigo sometimes basically dark. Ichigo never used darkness. Ichigo's never used darkness. His black Gesuga Tenshos are literally just Ryatsu colored black. Lucy wearing Aqua Era sort of makes sense. Water portals being part of her moveset. I mean, I could see her learning it. The thing is, like, I don't know about, like, it making sense for her to have it. I could see her doing it. I downplay every series. Fairy Tail is no exception. I know, Quan. You downplay everything. Except Seven Deadly Sins, apparently. Ella's faith for Gray getting a fight at this point. I don't think so, because, like, if you go back and read... I'll continue the rest of it in a second. If you go back and read the parts following the first kind of... Like, the second round matches where they were skirmishing with Diablos on the boat... Gray wants that match with Scullion again. He wants to have that match. He wants to go fight him. So I think it'd be a bad spot for Gray to do that. I think the problem is we just haven't. It's like one of those things, we haven't been in a spot where Gray has an opportunity for it yet. And my belief is Mishima is kind of just trying to move stuff around and maybe have Scullion's fight and Madmel's fights and stuff later, because he wanted to probably fit certain things within certain volumes, and I think that makes a lot of sense, because, like, you can just kind of, like, freely write, and it'd probably be easier, but we all know that, like, these guys are trying to make certain volumes have certain parts of the story, and, I mean, they're gonna draw, like, a sick cover and not make sure it fits whatever in the volume. We're not gonna get a freaking Haru snowboarding case again. I don't care if they'll fight Scullion, because Scullion hasn't done anything impressive for a long time. I mean, Scullion hasn't had anything really. Scullion got off-paneled, which, again, against a character made sense for him to lose to. But, like, before that, he never really took any losses. It's just more of... I think part of the problem is, for some reason, like, they weren't in Ellen tier, which was the weirdest part to me. Because Suzaku was, like, the whole thing about Suzaku being introduced was he was supposed to go with them to go after Celine. And then Suzaku is the only one in Ellen tier, while Madmel, Scullion, and Kiria are who the fuck knows where. So the problem is they just haven't done anything. They haven't had the screen time. And they haven't got the point yet. They haven't gotten to the point yet where I think logically we would have those matches. Because it made sense for them to get bodied by Laxus, and I think the reason Mishima wanted to do that was to kind of put that presence of, okay, yeah, Laxus is really strong, just give that quick reminder, and then put him against Kieran, because that shows you the gap between Kieran and, like, Madmel and Scullion. It's one of those things that's similar to, like, what happened with Celine. As long as Scullion and Madmel get up, and, like, they don't need to even directly, like, fight right now, but as long as it's not like they just lost and, like, we're never gonna get anything for him. It's like, the second Scullion starts doing cool shit again, it's gonna be like, people are gonna like Scullion again. And I've been here the whole time. Scullion is fucking cool. So, I'm a patient guy for it. Like I've waited years. I waited years to get something like Jalal finally moving past, like, aspects of his past. Like, I've been waiting forever for it. I can wait for Scullion to do something. I can wait for Madmel to do something. How relevant is God? With how relevant Gojo's in the story, he's more of a Piccolo than Vegeta. No, he gets a little bit more relevance than Piccolo. Piccolo doesn't, like, when is the last time you actually saw Piccolo do anything? Piccolo doesn't have anything like, you know, boxing up Dragon God Alderaan while, 70 miles tall, throwing hands. Silver solos Black Clover? I don't think so. Like, Silver is strong, but Silver doesn't have that overall big kind of gauge. Like, Silver wasn't enough to beat Marred Gear. Like, if the thing is, like, I think he could have beaten most of the Demon Gates just fine, but it's very clear if he was going to just start fighting them, there was no chance that he would have made it out there, like, fully successfully, because otherwise he would have done it. And I don't think, like, if you took Marred Gear and put him in Black Clover, I would put him somewhere around kind of like Lucifaro's level. So, if Silver can't beat Marred Gear, then I don't see how he's going to beat Lucifaro. Post Gray in the OG series could give Natsu a good fight, but can't fight a Dragon Slayer like him. Urza and Laxus, and that really sucks. Well, no, can't fight a Dragon Slayer Knight. Oh, no, the thing is, like, Natsu is a tier above everybody else now. Natsu has been like that for a good chunk of the while, and he's the only one that logically should be like that, because the thing is, nobody else has to be ready to 1v1 a Dragon God. Natsu has to be stronger than everybody else by the end, because he has to fight Igni at some point. He has to move past being able to, the point of Gray being able just to match him. We can't have that. You could maybe get to certain aspects with like Gray with the Devil Slayer boost, but it's like that still like wouldn't come close to stuff like his Dragon Force and whatnot. There's a clear gap between points where Gray and Natsu had to be more close versus now. Gray doesn't need to get to the point of 1v1ing somebody like Ignia. Natsu literally in the plot is set up to where he has to fight Ignia. He's going to have to be strong enough to fight Ignia. I don't think it sucks that he's not strong enough to fight Natsu. I honestly think that he's fine fighting Urza and potentially... Like, Lax is a little bit odder, but I think that he can contend with them just fine for the most part. Like, I think he gets the potential to beat Urza. Like, you put him against Laxus, you know, I'd give to Laxus 7 times out of 10. Gray, I think Gray has a couple tricks where he could win maybe a few rounds, but obviously way more in Laxus's favor. The thing is, right now, is just like Natsu is a tier above everybody else. Like, Natsu is just so much stronger than everybody. He has to be. Celine went down in one chapter, though. Celine, though, was in a spot where she got caught out. And like I said, it depends on if she is going to be out, like, done, or if it's just like it was a scenario where, oh, she caught off guard, she's out of this current moment, she'll be back later, revitalized and ready. Like, if she's just straight done, then that would suck. If Natsu beats Dogramag, it would piss me off. No, Natsu's not going to beat Dogramag alone. I don't think that. Like, it's like, what is Suzaku going to do? Like, maybe it's Natsu and Suzaku together. Maybe there'll just be some other characters. But it's like, not Natsu alone. I think Natsu can take human form just fine. Because we saw that Natsu was stronger than Celine's human form. And Celine's human form being stronger than Dogramag's human form, I think, is a logical thing. Unless it's one of those things where, like, their human form is only able to withstand a certain amount. So where it's like they're equal in their human form, but Dragon Celine and Dragon Dogramag, you know, there's a gap between them that's clear at that point. I could see that. There's no mention of Interstellar members having new members. All the post times to the Jaguars replacement. Not even Holy was negotiating with Shiki and friends. That's true, but I feel like that's one of those things where we should at some point get to, and it'd be like there's another one. It's just probably waiting for it. I definitely would have preferred if there was like a character name drop. New Arasion Sace Interstellar member Gary Hoover reporting for duty. It's, you know, it's some impressive masculine man. I mean, I don't know why somebody would be named Gary Hoover if they weren't a specimen of peak human. Kyria versus Jack. Kyria absolutely destroys Jack. Like, Jack is tough, but like Kyria was like breaking Urza's swords. She would slice him up so fast. Some guys just saying power of friendship for some reason. I don't know what relevance there is to that. You think Natsu will be fine with Celine offering herself to be eaten by Suzaku? I don't think Celine's gonna do that. That'd be weird. I don't want Celine just to be like, somebody eat me and take my powers. I don't really like that idea. I want Celine to get away, go heal, and then like come back like pissed off that she got caught. Like, a character getting caught out, that's fine. It depends on the context. Like, if they're just being stupid versus Ignia literally just in the middle of a conversation just attacking her, then yeah, that's fine. But I mean, like, if she's just caught out and then like that's that, I don't think so though. I think she'll be relatively fine. Has the enlarging the moon been properly calced? I've seen it. I don't really like calcs, but like at least from what I've seen, it is large planetary. It does sit with like the actual feat itself. Again, I'm not a huge fan of calcs though. I think calculations are a flawed system. Yeah, the Ignia Celine fight wasn't even good, which made it worse. I mean, it was like a skirmish. It wasn't like a long drawn out battle. It was a skirmish that they were both still good to go, but it only got interrupted because of Natsu, and the only reason that Celine got in that situation was because of Natsu. What's up, Jeff? How are you doing? I wonder what kind of goal Ignia, what is the New World's talking about? I think he's going to bring back the dragons. I think he's either going to revive the dragons, or he is going to turn people into dragons through dragon slaying magic. I don't believe base Natsu is not multi-solar system level. I don't agree with that weird jump from the Starry Sky arc, or the Eclipse Spirit arc rather. Ice what? What are we talking about? Jalal versus Demaria. I mean, the thing is, like, actually no. I was gonna say like it came down to obviously like if Jalal can get her first because Jalal is way faster, way stronger. But no, like, she stops time, Ultir shows up. There you go. Jala wins. Bam. Power levels are bullshit. No, power levels are not bullshit. Power levels with specific numbers are bullshit. When you give them a number and then you don't stick to that consistency, that's the problem. Like, if you had, like, power levels be way more grounded. This guy's power level is 50. That guy's power level is 100. But once you get to, like, oh, this guy's power level is 8,000,050, and it just keeps stacking, where it's like, what was Frieza's, like, in his final form? Wasn't it, like, something in the quadrillions or something? Or, no, I think that was his gold form. I think it's, like, 14 quadrillion or something. When you get to that point, it's just kind of stupid to me. Because at that point, it's just, like, you aren't going for consistency. You're just going to, like, everybody that shows up next is just going to have some crazier number. I think Seven Deadly Sins, for the most part, kept their power levels by numbers pretty good. Like, there were some chunky parts, but, I mean, that was mostly because of Merlin. Thoth Bay Fong over Dogramag. I mean, she's got more to her. I mean, like, he just showed up. She's got, like, multiple seasons of development. I think Kieran is the white mage because he used on, what he used on Laxus. This looks like what Toku used on Jalon her house. Well, no, she was, like, draining magic. He's, like doing attacks through the atmosphere. Mark Hamill voices video game and Western animation characters. Eric Keys, Fire Ozai, Skeleton King. He also voiced, who was it? He was in Dark Crystal. He was one of the dudes. I can't remember which one of the Skeksis he was. It was the scientist one. I forgot his name. Skexel? Was it Skexel? I don't remember. Either way, like, he was in that. Like, it took me a bit when I was watching it, and then I got his voice, and I was like, that's pretty cool. I've always enjoyed Mark Hamill's voice acting. Imagine if Dogramag does some tectonic plate shifting or stuff like that. That'd be pretty sick. I'd love to see him just do some crazy move where he just flips some shit over. Let me see. Where do you see end of series? Wait, where do end of series Lucia and Haru scale? The Lion Fire, his name is Megiddo. It's fire that could melt a nation. I mean, so, like, the thing is, like, you had like the whole, like, demon royalty people. Like, Megiddo is the strongest, but I mean, they should all be somewhere within range of him. Like, and he was by what he said country level, and I think that made sense by some of his previous feats, like when he went and fought the Endless. I mean, when we saw at least what Haru and Lucia were doing, they're probably around that kind of, like, continental, multi-continental. Because, like, some of the power levels at the end, there weren't a lot of, like, good defining things. And then some of the stuff, like, that you got to, like, the crazy end stuff, like being able to erase the timeline. Like, but that had to do more with, like, how Star Memory worked and how, like, their timeline existed in the first place and how Rave interacts with Darkbring. Like, it's more, like, that one has a lot more context behind it. Like, some of the end power levels is a little bit rougher to do with Rave Master. Need Elisir to fight. Really want to know how Law Dragon works. Me too, man. I really want to get to that. Base Natsu needed multiple people. Wait, hang on. Base Natsu needed multiple people past their limits to defeat Altaface. Well, the thing is, Altaface, like, they weren't able to use magic on it, like, the same, because, like, magic just wasn't affecting it. Kind of like how it wasn't affecting Face. I don't agree with the multi-solar system stuff. That's because of the Eclipse Spirit Arc is canon. It got, like, fully, like, for sure, 100% canonized. And some people take some feats out of that and, like, push it to, like, solar system, but, like, I don't think it's consistent with anything. And I'm for consistency. Like, if feats are not consistent, if we're not looking at consistent levels, I think that it's not something that you should be trying to quantify. Like, either if something is either way too low or way too high for what stuff has been consistently set as, I don't really use it. Like, you know, I'm not going to take, you know, some, like, there's like, I'm trying to think of off the top of my head. I'll come back to it. I completely spaced on the point I was about to make. Does Elisir beat Dogramag by suing him? He is the Law Dragon. Elisaria, Dragon Attorney at Law. The Celestial Spirit King did, like, Sun Stuff and Eclipse Spirit Arc. I mean, he's doing stuff with, like, the stars in his own dimension, but I mean, like, it has more to do with his dimension. But it's also, again, not consistent with, like, how power levels and stuff were. We saw where the Celestial Spirit King was when he showed up to fight Mardgear, and we know that he's not more... He's enough that he can contend with Mardgear, and we know that Mardgear said that, you know, stuff added in the anime by Mishima was that Mardgear lost in the past in some unknown way. but that should still put them relatively around the same level to a degree. And Margear doesn't come close to multi-solar system level. Even Sleep Enlarging the Moon is nowhere near multi-solar. Okay, they're talking about that. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I don't think the multi-solar system level stuff is sound. I think it's just inflation by people who like power levels more than consistent stuff. Planet level Rebecca, 1/10 of large planet level Shiki. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't agree with that either. But that's more of the fact that we haven't seen any planets destroyed in Eden Zero by characters that were actually like planet sized. It's all stuff that's like a town on a planet, like 100 people in like a 5-town or a 5-house building. I just messed up. 5-building town and like a factory. Like, and then like you can scale like the satellite that was near the satellite station, and like their Forestra and stuff is like 7 miles across. Granville is literally an amusement park and like nothing else. And then you have other planets that are just like outright puny. What was it, like Sunjul is like a town and a casino, and then you have stuff like the planet Amir was on, where it's like a vacation resort made for one person. Seems definitely more of an outlier, even though I hate using that word. Well, no, acknowledging outliers is important. Like, it is important. I 100% agree that it is important that if you look, because otherwise you end up with people who think like Boruto is fucking multiversal and stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. Is Iggy's aware of Cat Leaper and other worlds like World 31? Do you think he isn't? He hasn't specifically targeted Rebecca. I think this is probably part of his plan, and he knew they would show up. Defending a Black Clover character being stronger than the Fairies. I mean, the thing is, let me get you on this one, commentator Boise. The thing is, I am perfectly fine with saying certain characters in Fairy Tail we're gonna lose if they're against not specific characters. If characters are put up against people that are outright stronger than them. But when you have people saying like the Dark Triad against the Spriggan 12, it's like, what are you talking about? When I see people saying like, oh, putting Yuno against Gray, it's like, in what world are their feats even remotely close? If you take Lucifaro and Silver, it's like, yeah, Silver, where Silver was, he was at most like around Wizard Saint level. And then that in Black Clover, I consider around Captain level. So when you put like a Captain guy who does have a boost, like it'd be kind of probably, it's not the same thing, because Saint Stage doesn't have the same kind of big boost that Devil Slayer has against Demons and Devils. But even if you gave him that boost, I don't think it closes enough of the gap to Lucifaro. Elsie versus Mirror Jane? Oh, Mirror Jane. Mirror Jane's got hacks. She's got better feats all around. She's way more experienced. She's got more to use. One thing I really want to know about Elsie and Star Drain is, like, how much of Star Drain do you get to keep? Like, if you go to a planet and use Star Drain, gain a form, is there a way to re-achieve that? Or is it, like, added to your repertoire? Or, like, is that it? You only get that if you go back there. In one of the first 100 Years Quest chapters, Brandish said that no one knows what happened to Larcade. I mean, he's dead. On the next page, she says God, Serena, Wall, and Bloodman are dead. Would it mean that Larcade is in some way alive? Well, no, I think that she just wasn't there for it. She wasn't there whatsoever. Whereas, like, we knew, like, she knew at the point of all the Spriggan gathering that Wall, God, Serena, and Bloodman were dead because Nineheart had to make copies of them. They would have already known at that point. Whereas Larcade died after that. She was already, like, at the point where Larcade died, she had already tried to leave. She had already taken Demaria to leave town. Isn't Elsie playable? No. Silver would scale to Eclipse? No, she's not. He wouldn't, but, like, Ophidius is not star level. It's, no. Ridiculous. Do you hear that people are comparing Kaido to Jiren because of his backstory? Here's the thing. Watch me. I'm going to do another mind blower. I'm about to defend One Piece. Kaido is infinitely better than Jiren. Kaido is infinitely better than Jiren. Jiren is literally like if a successful fan fiction of Dragon Ball got the ball going and then would realize that they didn't have a bad guy and then was so worried about having all these other random characters do all these little tiny feats that they got to Jiren and realized, I don't have a backstory for this guy. And his backstory is his master. His master died and wanted him to have teamwork. And it's just like, why? Like, there's stuff with... Here, let me tell you this. It's not the same extent. Kaido's backstory has elements similar to what we got with Acnologia, where you're able to take a short backstory and connect it to other parts you already knew in the story. Acnologia had a lot more, but there's still stuff from Kaido that you can look at and say... Like people are bringing up the fact that he was captured, was it 18 times, and then there's the whole thing about, like, whenever he's really hungry and he doesn't have food, he'll let himself get captured to eat. Something like that is something you can connect to other parts in the story. So it's like able to take two pieces, combine them, bam, an actual chunk of his backstory that gives some character to it. That I think is good. I do agree it's too short. Like, it's weird how short it is. Like, I kind of wish Kaido was more of like how we just got the chapter, but it's like we got way more chunks into his backstory. Like, every once in a while we got a couple pages just on Kaido in a scenario where it's like we only really saw him in Wano and he was already a big angry bad guy, whereas like we got like his whole pretty much upbringing in like 4 or 5 pages. But yeah, Jiren like Kaido's way better than Jiren. Jiren is so lukewarm, and his design even sucks. Like, he's literally just Crypto from Destroy All Humans jacked with a red shirt. Like, it's bad. Like, I don't understand, like, the hype behind him other than that he's powerful. Like, if you took away, like, take away, like, the scenes of, like, take the hype music away and then just kind of, like, have Jiren talk and try and experience his character, the dude is lukewarm. He's carried literally by fights. It's not even him. He's carried by the fact he was a bad guy for Goku to beat up. He's literally just, if Goku beats that guy up, he's stronger than he was before. That's literally all Jiren is. Literally all Jiren is. And for that, Jiren is literally the bar of mid. Like, he is probably the most mid bad guy, for antagonist rather, for like in recent years. He's not terrible because it's not like we really had anything to go off of, and he's not great. He's like, he is a free school lunch of bad guys. Like, he's just kind of like, okay, cool, I'm not going to complain, it's free. But I mean, damn, dude, they didn't even put any mayonnaise on the sandwich. Grand Godzilla should join the Dogramag fight. I would hope so. And then having them get injured left, or especially the one comparable to Elfman, is straight up insult. Wait, what? Madmal wasn't comparable to Elfman. Like, the thing is, Madmal and Skollion were not fighting seriously. Skollion could have killed Mirror Jane immediately into the fight. The second he went behind her and kicked her, he could have grabbed her and turned her to ash. Easy. He didn't use any name techniques. He wasn't doing anything really of any value. Mirror Jane even acknowledged they would have lost. At one point, Elfman hits Madmal and is given such pushback and damage from it, the recoil, it takes him out of his form. Like, he's literally hit, like, he busts his fist so hard, he drops form against him. The thing about Madmal, though, is, like, Skollion has some chunks. Skollion had some parts we could really actually look at and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Skollion had some parts that were pretty badass. Nothing of that for him. Nothing of that for Madmal. Like, Madmal has really had nothing other than, like, his only real feat is, he's got 2 feats. Stood back up after getting Natsu's fire drinking purgatory and shrugged off his demolition fist. That's all he's got. That's literally his 2 feats. Like, what else do we really have for Madmal? We have nothing really else to go off of. My fault about me, God, me, and Karen's coffin. Oh, sorry, man, that's alright. I'm at King, but another topic. I think you should cover the whiteout cult thing, ideology. It's crazy how the ideology can corrupt someone's mind. There's stuff that I want to do on that, but I'm just waiting for, like, to actually get some form of, like, more information on them. Because there's such a weird subplot put in the back burner for 100 Years Quest, and it's like, maybe, like, Mishima's not even going to put him in it? Is he saving it for the future? What's going on with that? We have the magical magician Seekheart Jalal. Magical magician. His name is Mugen. Seekheart, Jalal, Justice, Genesis, and From Heroes. But Mystico would also fit in there. Would people don't count him that too much? I don't know if I missed whatever that is relevant to. What about 130 canonizes it? Just Godfrey? Yeah, because it. One thing also, if you look at Yukino. Yukino is wearing the same outfit she had. Like, Yukino is wearing the same thing that she had at the time. But, like, legitimately, it wouldn't make sense for Lucy to have ever experienced Godfried if it wasn't for that arc. And especially on top of that, it wouldn't make sense for her to specifically pick Yukino and Hisui. Because Hisui, we only found out, like, trained in Celestial Spirit Magic during that arc. So it wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't for that. It's kind of like how... if Phoenix Priestess wasn't canon, why are Moment and Eclair in Natsu's Beta Heaven? Literally zero logic otherwise. It's one of the things, like, all this stuff being, canon, it's always been a plus. Or the technique, not the arc. Well, no, the arc has to be canon based off the technique. There would be no logical context without it. Like Sony Animus and Dragon Cry, the characters are canon, but not the film. No, the film is 100% canon. Dragon Cry is 100% canon. There's 4th generation Dragon Slayers introduced in that movie. We also have aspects of Acnologi's backstory brought up in that movie. We see Sonya in the manga. And Dragon Cry came out before that chapter happened. We see Sonya in the same cave, the same ribbon that Acnologia won upon before he killed Animus, that unnamed dragon, and Zirconis. Like, it's canon. Her using Godfrey in the Eclipse Celestial Spirit arc was part of their memories. That she remembered a precise event occurring. Yes, that's another thing. She remembered that after thinking back. Like, they're literally given, like, she literally had a part where she's thinking back towards her friends, the bonds that they've had, the experiences and journeys, and it's her literally reminiscing about the past, having that kind of quick part where she's thinking about everybody that made her realize the plan to, get up Gemini Aquarius, get the water up, distract her for 16 seconds, and get up Godfrey. Make a copy of Hisui and Yukino, bam. My cat is, like, stretching, and she's, like, trying to roll under one of my monitors. I think she almost got stuck. Goku, Naruto, prior to time skip, Luffy, and Ichigo don't use elemental powers. Oh, no, Luffy has Red Hawk. Well, that's something. But, I mean, I guess that's kind of the same as, like, Naruto using his Wind Rush and Shuriken. It wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't canon. Yes, it would make literally no sense. Immersophobia art, Kyria was clearly outclassing Lucy and Wendy. She was clashing with Urza and Natsu, first person who damaged her when Grey by freezing her. But you know what happened in Elentier? Lucy experienced critical magic and got significantly stronger. It's almost like we were shown that in the manga. It's almost like we had direct visual confirmation, like the fact that after Stardress Mix, prior to going to Elentier, she would drop out of her Stardress Mix. Meanwhile, in Elentier, she was fine. Like, what do you mean? If Lucy was not stronger from that coming out of Elentier, after she used Leon Maiden, she'd be done. She would have been done. It would have cost her so much magic just to have Gemini do that. I don't see Silver beating Julius Lucius. I don't disagree with him completely souling Black Clover. That one, I think Lucius should scale higher, and then stuff like Future Sight. Future Sight is definitely a threat, and we gotta figure out whatever his actual magic is, because like the time magic is a threat, but the time magic is devil based, so devil slaying would have a counter to that. But whatever Lucius's natural magic is, those bonuses that he gets from being a devil slayer does not apply. So like, you gotta look from like this. His base magic is still boosted from his mana. The time stuff would be, it would get countered because of just how devil slaying works. But the boost he gets from, his devil mana into his natural, like, magic, Silver would have no way of dealing with that. Because, like, when it comes to, if just directly demons and devils, he has that counter. So you're able to, like, a devil slayer is able to fight to a degree above them because of that damage boost that they get against demons and devils and the ability to neutralize and counter their abilities. But when it comes to abilities outside of that, they don't have that at all. So somebody like the people who have the two magics, so, they have their own magic and the devil magic, whatever their base magic is, they still would have full access to it. And, well, not full access. They would still have full usage of it. So, like, say, I'm not even going to go into, like, specific conversations about, like, power levels, but I'll just give an example. Like, say you have a character who's small country level and silver, and then you have Silver. Say that the boost let him cover that gap to where he could damage somebody like that and neutralize his devil aspect, but the magic that he would have otherwise, that's not his devil magic, that'd still be small country level, would be way above Silver. Way above him. He would have nothing he could do there. How do you feel about the last Doran chapter? I thought it was pretty good. It was a little bit weird, but I mean, like, it's one for Kusanagi's character. It's one that tells us more about him and his flaws. When does she remember in the chapter? I just skimmed through it, and it wasn't anything about the Eclipse arc as far as I know. No, she's thinking back about the past. And let me pull up the exact part where it's very clear to see what she's talking about. Let me go to 103. It's right when she's getting ready. Let me see it. Let me see. It's like yes. Okay, so when she's talking about it, and right when the Hisui and Yukino copies come out, and she says, and not just the guild, the memories of everyone I've met give me power. So right there, a memory about someone outside the guild, it's Hisui and Yukino. It's meaning, context, a memory with them. Godfried. When did she cast Godfried with them? The Eclipse arc. The Eclipse Spirit arc. Like, it makes no sense. Like, you shouldn't need her to outright say, I remember during the part with the Eclipse Spirits where we were facing off against, I can't pronounce her name, and we had to use the Trinity Celestial Spirit magic, Godfried, in order to defeat, in order to defeat all of their stuff, so we could eventually get to the point of defeating the Celestial Spirit Beast, where after that point, we went into Tartaros. It's like, you don't need that. You should be able to look at context clues, logic of what they're showing. And again, Yukino is wearing the same outfit. She's wearing the same outfit that she had in that arc. And Hisui would make no sense to be here because we found out she learned Celestial Spirit magic in that arc. Like, it wouldn't make any sense otherwise. Asta versus Silver? Oh, I'd go Asta. Like, he still has well... that's a little rough. I'd probably still go Asta, because, like, there's the fact that Devil Sling is similar to Dragon Sling, where Dragon Sling is you use magic, but by doing so, your power is two different power sources, because Dragon Power is its own power system, but you're using magic essentially to have two at the same time, whereas Devil Sling, you get magic and curse power at the same time. So Asta wouldn't be able to really do anything against curse power, because Fairy Tail curse power is way different than Black Clover curse, because Black Clover curses are in the branch of magic, whereas Fairy Tail curses are completely cut off, their own power source, completely separated from magic. I agree, Silver is strong, but Silver isn't enough that he could solo the Spade Kingdom. You put Gray in there, Gray's running over him. Gray will run over the whole Spade. Meliodas versus Lucifaro. Oh, I go Meliodas. I think Meliodas has it just fine. What is it, the Silver Wank? He can't even beat Margir? Yeah, I agree. Like, Silver's strong, but, he's not enough to just walk through the Spade Kingdom. No way. I like Lucy Curia fight, but it wasn't strategic. She got her ass saved by her spirits. They're part of her moveset. They're part of her abilities. They are part of what she has. Like, Lucy's spirits are her magic. She is a summoner. Lucy's core is a summoner. Having reliance on her summons and having being able to use their abilities to get her out of scenarios and help her win the fight is literally how summoners work. Like that doesn't make sense. That's goofy. Like that itself is a bad claim. Like, a summoner, it's like complaining that a caster has to fight ranged. Like, yeah, they're a caster. They're not a melee combatant. Or it's like a character who is just physically strong, who's just a brawler, isn't like a strategic character. Lucy absolutely was strategic. She won through strategy. She literally won by outsmarting Kyria and figuring out a plan. She had other plans she was trying, but the problem she was having once Kyria was starting to push back against her really hard was she couldn't figure out a new plan. And it was only because she started to think back about her past and stuff with her guild, and eventually thinking more towards not just her guild, but to the people in general that she's actually experienced these adventures with, that made her realize that. Like, again, you gotta look at the context of the scenario. Like, Mishima shouldn't have to spoon feed stuff to people. It's goofy. If Gray can barely beat Scullion, I don't think it's barely. Because, the thing is, Gray didn't lose to Scullion because he was, a smidgen of skill. Scullion caught him in a hacks. You get caught in a hacks, you get caught in a hacks. That's how it is. You get caught in something that's busted, that's your fault. It's not something that it's it's not a real loss. It does count as a loss, but it's not the same thing as an outright, being defeated by power and skill. You got caught in an ability that you didn't have a means to either get out of or counter. That's just what it is. That's how those abilities work. Wait, let me keep reading this, though. He can't beat Urza because Urza beat Misaki, who's stronger than Scullion and Gray. The thing is, Gray is not going to stand there like Misaki did. Misaki's problem is similar to Gray's. Like, oh, Gray's a little different. Both of them got caught in something that moved. Misaki's biggest problem is she was underestimating Urza. She was not taking her seriously enough, and she. That cat. The cat trying to come in here. Hold on. Hang on, I'm coming. Oh, were you just on the floor? This cat wasn't even outside the door. She's just on the floor wanting attention. You can come over here. I'm talking to people right now. You're interrupting. Let me see. Crap, I don't want to miss this. Where was that? Somebody just says Gray's trash. Dude, Gray's cool. What are you talking about? I don't think Selene will survive from that huge hole in her throat blasted by ignis. She will die, lack of breathing, heavy bleeding. The thing is, we know that dragons can literally replace organs and parts of their body. Their bodies will literally create new organs for them to survive. We opened up this arc with that. Lucy saved, Laxus saved Lucy? Not really. Lucy, like, Laxus, here's the thing. Laxus took one attack that Lucy literally right beforehand was taking, like, 1 to 2 dozen of. He didn't save her in the fight, but he definitely triggered what led her to figuring out the plan. Because right before that, Lucy was like, what do? I can't think of anything. I need to figure out a strategy. Is this it? Like, because the big problem was Lucy was, like, everything that she was pulling out was not working. But once she got to the point where she thought back, obviously stuff with Godfrey and stuff, that was what led her to win. Laxus kind of helped, but it's not like he jumped in and beat up Kyria. Like, he didn't outright change the fight from a power standpoint. It's more of he just kind of helped her get the idea. I'm assuming that Guild Arts is too powerful on 100 Years Quest. No, he didn't. He said that Guild Arts would be in it. He said Sting, Rogue, and Guild Arts would eventually join the 100 Years Quest. There's only 2 strong for the Dragon Years, not Dragon Gods, but it doesn't need to be in the story though. I mean, we weren't at a point where we really needed Guild Arts in there. I mean, for the lower Diablos members, yeah, we're not going to have Guild Arts show up to fight Nibaru. But, like, a lot of people thought he was going to fight Georg, actually. But, like, the thing is, it just depended on when he was going to show up. Not, like, in 100 Years Quest. Like, the group that we were fighting isn't 100 Years Quest. Like, to say he was too strong for 100 Years Quest would mean that he's too strong for, like, the Dragon Gods and stuff. So I think that just might have been a miscommunication. I think he'll eat Alderaan. That would be long. There's a lot of food there. Team 4-star, Gray, and Gajo halftime entertainment. No, it's just the problem is, like, it's time and a place thing. It's time and a place thing. We have, like, to have a Gray and Gajo fight has to be put in a way that it doesn't break build up. Because, like, you'd want fights like that to be in scenarios that... To be in scenarios and points that don't diminish other fights. Like, we don't need to... We shouldn't have the Dogramag fight and then do Mad Bull and Scullion. If we get that fight started and then get to, like, Gray and Gajo getting fights and then move back into that and, maybe get to the Kira and Laxus fight, okay. But, like, there always has to be aware... You always have to be aware of, like, time and place. Like, the setup and how things have to... How they should be set from a story structure standpoint. Because you don't want things to just occur. You don't want things just to go all haphazardly. You want things to flow within a good motion to where it benefits both the story and the readers. Because if you just start throwing all the fights around in random order, there's going to be times where it's like, who wants to go from Dogramag to Mad Mole? Like, I like Mad Mole. I've said it before. I like Mad Mole. I'm a fan of Mad Mole. I like his character. I think he's fun. He's goofy, but I like his design and I like aspects about him. But going from him to Mad Mole would be bad. Going from Mad Mole to Dogramag, thumbs up. That's great. I would love that. We haven't gotten a Natsu moment in so long. That's probably soon. There's a guy spamming an adult dating website. Oh, thank you for being enough that, like, whatever bot decided to come spam porn websites was, like, apparently enough to draw, apparently my stream was enough to draw attention for it. So I appreciate it. Singles in your area, or like what's the other ones, like, you won't last 5 minutes playing this anime game, and it's like a picture of Sakura and she's trying to eat like an entire hot dog the size of her forearm. I wonder if Rebecca can resist time stop because of her cat leaper. Like, say Demario stops time, but due to cat leaper she can still reverse or move within time like Ultier. Maybe. As the Ultier one is a little bit rough because it's not Ultier, it's like Ultier's time that she gave up. That's kind of like those ones, like, I could see it working with Cat Leaper just because it's a time-based power. It would have to depend, like would it activate on its own? I could kind of see it, Because, like, when she initially was, like, very first parts using it, it activated on its own. I kind of hate how cool characters in Season 1 of Sterling Sins became completely irrelevant as soon as the power levels got introduced, though. I mean, that's because, like, they just, for some reason, Akaba just did not want to keep them up. I actually was looking at a page, because I was looking for some of the stuff they were talking about when Faith and Quan were debating Zeldris and Yami yesterday. It's like, there's a part where it shows, like, a bunch of the characters. You got, like, Cusack, Chandler, Zeldris, Merlin, Escanor, Ludio Seal, and then there's like Hendrickson and Gilthunder. I'm like, what are you guys doing there? You guys should run. Get the fuck out of there. You're gonna die from Crossfire. Not counting the OG Yu-Gi-Oh, but do you think Yu-Gi-Oh power levels in the series are too crazy? Yu-Gi-Oh power levels are insane. Yu-Gi-Oh gets so broken when it comes to some of their powers. Gray's useless. Gray's not useless. What do you mean? Like, Gray's been, well, we haven't had... Well, Gray beat Hakune, and really Gray was the only one to beat Hakune. So I was going to say, like, specifically, like, Gray plot stuff, but it's like Gray hasn't had that kind of position. I don't think really anybody's had, like, certain spots like that in 100 Years Quest outside of what? Outside of, like, Wendy and Irene. Like, certain, like, kind of, like, trick plot moves. I guess, like, Lucy with Hologram was always technically one. She's got her own cheat. Frieza's final Namek form had a power level of 120 million. I mean, one like that's one that's like before it starts getting a little too much. Power levels are kind of BS. Gray with Demon Mark lost to Scullion. Gray lost to Scullion because he got caught in hacks. He didn't lose in an outright fight. It shouldn't be hard to process. Gray never defeat Mirror. Gray would clap Mirror Jane. The only reason Gray being afraid of Mirror Jane is like Natsu being afraid of Urza. Like, it's a character thing. It has nothing to do with power levels. How is it not consistent, Rax? Because there's literally, like, what characters after that arc started throwing around star level attacks? Nobody. Like, the only one you could really think of is, like, you can make an art for, like, Acnologia because he made a bunch of stars in his dimension. He's also using Meteor like Jalal and its light. Would you consider light speed? Well, no, because, like, the thing is, just cladding yourself in the element doesn't make you that. Something like Dragon Slayers or, like, Devil Magic and Black Clover, there's, like, an automatic, it's above this baseline just by stuff in the story and how, like, it's set up consistently with, like, these things just being naturally better than their, just being better than their natural counterparts. Whereas, like, with Jalal putting himself with Meteor, like, I've always assumed, like, even since, like, that start, is like, you use Meteor, you're as fast as a Meteor. Because that made more sense to me than just, like, oh, he's got light on, so he's light speed. Revived Dragons is very good to me. Ignia is a racist of humans. He doesn't seem to care. He doesn't seem to care at all about humans. Like, he seems more of just, like, you know, he does whatever he feels like. He doesn't seem to have too much of a side. I want to know what your reaction was in the E&D reveal. Dude, the E&D reveal was so strange. Because, like, everyone at the time thought, like, he was going to be the big final villain. Like, it was going to be between Zareth, Acnologia, and E&D. I have a video on that coming up soon, though. People got to wait for. Who can beat Mardgear and Black Clover? That's kind of hard. Because, like, Curse Power, Memento Mori, like, he physically outclasses all of them, like, immensely. I don't know. Like, Mardgear right now is, like, Lucifaro in them, where it's, like, I could see some characters, like, in a group beat him, but, like, 1v1, I don't think anybody's going to outright beat Mardgear at the moment. Because, like, even the characters that, like, have a little bit of scaling over him, he could just beat him with Memento Mori. Grand Godula have been done dirty and useless in Sark. They haven't had time yet. You can't slander a character who hasn't had the moment that they're set up for. Whatever they're set up for, whatever they're here for, they haven't had a spotlight for. Basically, Wizard, Shiki and Wizard was another Acnologia Blitz and God Serena moment. Difference is Wizard pulled off some techniques before going down. God Serena fought multiple people before he fought him. What do you mean? Like, he fought Warren, Wolfheim, and he fought Hyperion. Acnologia, though, you can't compare the gap between God Serena and Acnologia to Shiki and Wizard. Like, that's ridiculous. Guillotine, like, legit, dude. I don't know what your beef is. Like, I swear you're secretly a Quan alt or something. Jacob would lose to Vonica because he'd get distracted by her boobs. That's probably true. Like, unless he closed his eyes and just clapped, like, then she's done. But I mean, like, yeah, logically, like, he would lose to females, even though, like, that could be weaker than him just because we know We know, like, literally, like, skin from girls is his weakness. I agree with you that they're gonna go down their own quest, and it's gonna make since it's oh my god, sense to the story. Okay, it was the different sense. I was confused. However, I do believe at some point this is gonna get interrupted, like the Hunter's quest, like in his plan. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. I don't mind an interruption. Like if there's gonna be something that disrupts the quest, it has to be important. Ray Godjill become useless when becoming a lover boy. I mean, Godjill hasn't even really been in the series. Like, I don't know why people gotta hate on shit just because, like, Godjill's been busy. Godjill doesn't give a fuck about as many feats right now. He's got kids on the way. Gray's been more focused on his character. Like, we've had so much good character stuff for Gray. Gray just hasn't had, like, a part where he would be spotlight. Like Natsu spent Elentier doing what? Natsu's the main character. He spent Elentier doing relatively nothing. I mean, it's just like sometimes characters aren't going to get the same spotlights in different arcs. Hopefully we'll get a fight for Gray and Godjill coming up. We haven't gotten that yet. Jalal over Gray. I mean, Jalal's more powerful. Oh, and being useless? What do you mean? Like, Jalal has been consistently useful in, like, every arc he ever shows up in. Why do people overhype Mira's Allegria form? It didn't do anything and beat fodder and didn't last long. I know. The Mirror Jane fans are just dedicated. Or being fair, so other Dragon Slayers will have to appear. I mean, I don't really know what they're going to do. Like, they're going to be, like, below most of the Dragon Slayers. Jiren's just there for Goku to fight and beat him. Yeah, pretty much. He's mid. Godjill versus Viernes. I mean, I have a video on that eventually I'll get to. Demario versus Kyria, but with Godslayer magic? I mean, she's not going to do anything. Even with Godslayer magic, she can't move in time stop. Jiren is not even the hype. Jiren is the ass. Without hacks, I give it to Elsie, as Mira would also be a stamina problem. Mira's stamina problem hasn't been an issue in a long time. That's like Sirius Island. When planet level at max, show me Guillotine. I'm just gonna tell you this right now. You bring it up again, I'm gonna mute you. I'm going to time you out. I've talked to you about this like 80 fucking times, and it's really annoying. And at this point, it's just become something that I'm so agitated with telling you, but I know if I ignore you, you're going to spam it in the chat. So I'm just going to tell you right now, unless you actually show me a scaling and you bring it up again, I'm going to time you out. Like, I don't even give a fuck anymore. Like, when I have to repeat myself 40 fucking times for a year, I don't care. You're in buff Jock of Universe 11? I mean, pretty much. I wish that was actually his lore. That'd be kind of cool. That would actually make him a little bit interesting. Jiren as a character is the only level of Dark Disciples in Ocean. Wait, oh yeah, he's pretty mid like that. I mean, out of the Oceans, Lyra was cool. Oh, but like without hacks, you give it to Elsie? No, Mirror Jane has better feats. Elsie really needs some good feats. Scullion and Madmo literally admitted they couldn't win. Scullion and Madmo like did nothing, and they didn't even say they couldn't win. Scullion said, "Oh, you guys are tougher than I thought," and then he left. Like I said, if Scullion wanted to win, he could have just turned her to ash the moment their fight started. Mirror Jane's a weaker form. We don't know if Mirror Jane has any of her... Like, Mirror Jane's bigger stuff, like Sayla and Allegria, we don't even know if she still has those. Because we know the Aetherius left once Zeref died. So we don't know if those souls deteriorated or not. How can Sasuke beat Gray? I don't know, like... Because I'm thinking, like, Sasuke doesn't really have anything that's really a threat to Gray. I mean, he should scale... Well, not anymore. He doesn't scale any higher. Yeah, I guess Gray might clap. Like, Sasuke might become mid. Mirror James also weak. Oh, it's rather this one. Jalal versus Laxus. I would give it to Jalal. Jalal has way more of a versatile moveset. He's smarter than Laxus. And Laxus's best thing now depends on him taking damage. And I think Jalal is smart enough to really capitalize on that. I went to ask if Michigan would count as Jalal clone and the others because of the Heroes cover. We had Jalal. I mean, yeah, he counts because Mystigun's there, but it's like Mystigun is like DLC to that. He's a bonus. I like Jiren. Go watch Seth the Program video about Jiren fighting against Goku. Understand? He's just cool. He's lame. He's literally just I'm powerful. I don't like Seth the Program videos. Like he does really weird power levels. I remember he tried to say that like All Might was faster than light because Mirio's whole thing is that he's phasing, but he's like, well, there's a thing called quantum tunneling, which means he has to be faster than light. It's like that's not what the power is. He's literally just phasing through shit like Kitty Pryde. It's not you're jumping through hoops. Shoal and Lex are basically equals. The only difference, the latter has more feats. Shoal has more feats and he has a better moveset. Or except for the 4th generation being treated better than the army of black armored fodder with the dragon powers. I mean, that's what 4th gen is. 4th gen to me is just like inanimate objects. I think technically, like, I think a good example, if we ever confirmation, is like Urza with her Belsarion sword, I think would technically be a Dragon Slayer. But I think in that scenario, the 4th gen would be her sword. Because I think 4th gen is more of in the inanimate object. Wonder Mishima made the 4th generation Dragon Slayers because they're just brainless fodder and didn't do anything. I think he just, like, he wanted that to be an idea, and it's something that I think is, like, maybe he's going to work into stuff later. Because, like, it was really weird when it happened, but it's, like, it was one of those things I feel like he just kind of threw out there for later plans. I don't know if it was to get 5th gen or what. I don't know. I always thought it was a little weird. I feel bad for Hisui. He's trained all her life to become celestial spirit magic, but all the golden keys taken. I mean, she's not been trained her whole life. She trained recently. Like, it was, like, a couple months after the Grand Magic game, she's like, well, I should start doing stuff. Nanda combat, who wins between Rebecca and Yukino? Oh, Yukino. Yukino, for some reason, can throw hands. Like, I always thought that was funny. Like, they gave her, like, actual skills in the anime of, like, yeah, Yukino can just throw down with people, apparently. And just, you know, she's got military combat training, and she's just gonna be busting people up. I always thought that was really funny. Because, like, I don't know if anybody expected it. I absolutely did not expect it. But I just remember when that episode came out, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is she doing? Like, what exactly is she doing here? And, like, that to me, I always just thought was kind of hilarious. 1 second. I'm just looking something up really quick. Okay. Okay, sorry, I got distracted on looking at something. I was just trying to look something up because I was confused. Lex has more feats than Jalal. No, he doesn't. Jalal has more feats. Jalal's been in more fights, and he has way more of an arsenal to use. 4th generation should have been Machias, the Dragon Slayer core. I mean, maybe he'll do something like that eventually. The Machias or whatever, Machias, Machias, whatever, like, they're a really weird race. He is the queen now. If a war begin, all wizards have to fight the new Dragon Slayers. I don't even know what that has reference to. I think it's impressive that Killer can trap Galactica members in Shiki's dimension. Yeah, like, I want to know, like, what's the deal with that? Like, how does that work? Like, he just makes me think of Yukio from Bleach. Like, can you bust out with power level stuff? Like, because, like, why doesn't he just kill everybody? Imagine an arc where Diablos are the main characters. I think that'd be neat. When's the English chapter out? I'm waiting on that still. I really am hoping it gets out soon. I want to read it today and put out my review. Because, like, I'm just waiting on, like, specific stuff with the dialogue and specific parts of context. Like, what's going on with LF Serio? What's going on with Dogramag and Ignia? Let's see. Prime Licked versus Prime All... Oh, Licked Body's All Might. Stop. Prime Licked versus Prime All Might, like he's going to body him. As far as the Arassian States groups go, how pretty much works. I'm going to like the Galactica the most because of Shiki, Dragon, and LZ, and Arrow. I mean, I'm gonna have to pick the Arassian Seis. Like, the Arassian 6 are cool too. Well, it's the Arassian 6, the Arassian Seis, Galactic, and Galactica, and Arassian Seis Interstellar. The first one is Arassian 6. The Arassian Seis was the placeholder name that Mishima gave them while he was thinking, like, he was still kind of brainstorming ideas for him, and then he said he didn't think of anything different at that point, so he just went with the Arassian Seis. Honestly, the Diablos as a whole needs redemption. They're fine as a whole. Like, Guillotine, like, legitimately, you come in here with such a negativity every week, and it's annoying. The problem is the guild never did missions without Master, and that Moat Makarov with an Alvarez. Zerf don't use the second visual before Alvarez, Brandish, and will never see Acnologia. Is that correct? I don't know what you mean. Haku is lame, not power level wise, but character wise, he's unfunny. I think he's funny. I think he's goofy, and he makes me laugh. I don't care. I like little, like, goofy OP characters like that. I think they're funny. Do you ever want to debate about Selene versus Black Clover versus Broku? I don't think Broku wants that. Like, Broku doesn't want that at all. We're about to do Selene or Irene versus Black Clover. You think that he wants Selene? Selene can just teleport people across dimensions and leave them there. Like, what is Asta gonna do if he's put in some random void space? Lame got beaten. You can't count him getting punched as a joke. That's like counting when Kana punched Brandish and Brandish passed out. That's dumb. And when he lost to Wendy, that was only because he didn't want to hurt Wendy. He was trying not to hurt her. Ratson says Galactica better than Mishima's other Sace groups. That's not true. The Erasion Sace have far more character. Like, Cobra has far more development and progression than anybody else besides Shiki within his groups. You can't count Shiki because he's the main character. I don't think that's very fair, because like you put the main character in like against like characters who are reoccurring bad guys. Like every once in a while they come back with like character amount, like how much there is to their character, then they're gonna lose. That's they're not gonna win that. But I mean, like, look at Cobra. Cobra by himself has so much to him. Austin ability to deal with the curses is one of the reasons why I didn't want Megiko to die early. Well, I don't think Megiko is dead. I think she just got sent back. Okay, I think I'm getting closer to caught up. Let me see. Where was I at? I think I'm okay, I'm not that far away. Do you think Urza, Lucy, and Wendy yokai form will be returned? I don't think... Like, so when it came to those, I didn't think any of the other ones would return. The one that I would hope would return would be Happy and Carla's. I think it'd be cool if, like, Wendy could enchant, like, that forms onto them so they could turn into those big tiger forms. Because, like, they're the only ones I think that would, like, benefit from it. I think everybody else, it's like, there's no real need for it. Lucifer's gear was dope. Lucy easily one of the best written character series. I agree. Like, I thought that was a really good fight. Haku's a brat who will never kill anyone. Well, he's not going to kill people. Like, saying, like, he's a brat for not killing people, I think, is stupid. This war will turn like Aknologi in my theories. This is, like, there is no war scenario yet. Here's the thing. Dogra's Labyrinth, right now, is not a war. They're in a game. It was opened as a game. They're having fun for the most part. Look at Kieran. Kieran's not in some bloodthirst. The biggest thing he wants is to fight Laxus again because he seems to just enjoy him. Like, you have Haku who's got a crush on Wendy. Like, you've got, like, people who aren't just trying to murder each other. This isn't a blood fest. Like, it's a battle in a game. Now that you mentioned the Dark Stars are getting upgrades, could Alvarez just make new Wall? The thing is, like, Nineheart could literally just make a copy of Wall, and Wall could download his personality into a new robot body. It's a little different because it seems like the Dark Stars were created. We don't know what the whole memory thing is about, but Wall is from, like, an organic race of machines. So, like, it's not the same thing because, like, it's not like uploading him, like you've got to program everything on a computer. Like, he was born somehow, however his race work. How do you see Morris coming back in the final arc? I don't see Tabata throwing away 1,200 years of knowledge down the drain. I mean, the only way I can think of would be if we have the whole immortal bodies from Lucius, you know, create, like, bringing them back to life thing. How is that Hax? Gray obviously just got overpowered. Because he got caught in an ability that turns you into ash. He got caught in a Hax. If there was enough that Gray could just counter it, he probably would have. But, like, what is he gonna do if he's literally immediately hit by the ability the second it cast? The second Scolion said Black Ash, you see the mark on Gray that he was affected by it. Didn't Scolion use his Hax on Laxus? We don't know. The thing is, like, as far as we know, Laxus could have literally just bodied them the moment that they showed up. Or, like, Laxus could have just AoE'd the whole area. Maybe Scolion didn't get to that point. We know Scolion doesn't use Black Ash immediately. He's tried to ash people immediately. But if Scolion went up to go grab Laxus, that's not good for him. Laxus could have literally at that point just said, blam, freaking smashed him with some lightning. And lightning isn't the same as ice. Lightning is going to go in your body and zap you. It's internal damage. It's going to go into your insides. When they don't get the 100 years quest is why the male dragons aren't simping for Selene. I mean, like, why would they want to? Like, Selene wants to kill them. You can't regenerate from a hole in your throat. Once it's gone, you're a goner. You also can't regenerate a heart regularly. But guess what Eleftheria did? Oh, his body made a new organ.
Rebecca versus Clown is more entertaining. Lucy versus Kira. That's cap, Guillotine. That is so absurdly cap. Rebecca versus Clown has been cool, but it was mostly Rebecca running around trying not to get stabbed. Kira was getting confronted by Lucy, and Lucy was doing way more strategy and way more planning. Like, I was happy that Rebecca got a good fight, and I'm hoping that she will come back and win the fight. But you're not going to tell me that it was better. Like, legitimately, like, Guillotine, every single week you come in here saying that, like, fairy tale stuff is worse, everything else is better, and I'm getting so annoyed by it. Your negativity is just getting on my fucking nerves, man. You're bringing down the mood, and I don't like it. I don't like the negativity. It's too much. If you are negative sometimes, cool, but you're always negative, and I don't like it. I don't like the vibe you bring. You need to perk yourself up and quit being a twat. Rex, you're saying that Misaki underestimated Urza, which is true, but which still scales higher than Scullion, and though Scullion had hacks against Gray, his hacks didn't help against Laxus. The thing is, though, one, we didn't see the context of Laxus versus Scullion, so we don't know if he, say, tried to use Black Ash and it didn't work, so we don't know about stuff like that. If Misaki took Urza seriously and wasn't at the point where it's like, hey, this is somebody you have to worry about, where she's standing there completely aghast that, like, her dimension is being affected by Urza's level of power, she could have dodged. She could have moved out of the way. She could have figured out something to, like, not get hit by that. You can have a character have a way more powerful attack than their general stats. Like, we've seen that a lot in series. I don't even have to say just fairy tale. You've seen that throughout fiction. A character can have an attack. Lucy's a good example. Godfrey is way above the rest of her stats. Like, you look at Lucy's general level of power and durability, I can guarantee you Godfrey is leagues above that. It's a way bigger spell. Whereas something like Urza's Meteor Sword can be something way more powerful than her general level of attack. Gray is not going to stand there, because in Gray's mind, even if you look at, like, comparative feats, and obviously, like, with the Misaki stuff, Urza has the better feat right now, Gray is going to go into that fight believing, like, you could have Natsu. Natsu would go into that fight with the belief that Urza is a stronger combatant, regardless of feats and facts. Gray is going to go into that with the mindset that Urza is going to be the one with the edge, and he's going to be way more serious about dealing with Urza than what Misaki did. If Misaki comes back and we see Misaki do better simply by taking Urza more seriously, that'll be a huge plus for her character. But you can't really count a character getting caught the exact same as, like, a character getting outright defeated. It's like how Urza lost to Kyrian the first time. She got caught in the hacks. Once she figured out how to get around that, it's clear that she would have, she bodies her. Like, come on. Also, what's the point of Gajo being teleported? He's gonna... Okay, I'll just say it right now. How about you wait? How about, like, we wait till a point where it's actually his time? We had focus first on, like, we had stuff with Wendy, then we had Lucy, and now we had stuff with Ignia and Dogramag and stuff. You should wait until something. Like, you start out an arc? Like, did you start out the point of going into Alvarez? Like, what's the point of, like, all these dudes in the Spring and 12? We haven't seen them do stuff yet. What's the point of bringing Jalal into this arc? You haven't done stuff yet. It's like, you should probably wait more than 5 minutes. Like, you should wait until the arc is actually played through. If we get through the arc and Gray and Gajo haven't done anything, I'd be like, yeah, like, that's upsetting. Especially Gajo, because it's like, the best that we would have out of that, it's like, okay, cool, now we at least have a reason why Gajo can continue forward in the story. But it's like, let's get him something in the meantime, you know? Saying from Blue Exorcist from Natsu versus Natsu. I don't think Blue Exorcist has, like, any good speed feats. I think Natsu blitzes. So nitpicks, but I hope Clown had something cooler, because so far, besides Nightmare Power, he just has elemental things like Wizard. Well, he seems to control his whole ring, like his whole thing. Jalal versus White Tiger Haku. I'd probably give it to Jalal, because I think Jalal would be way smarter about it. Like, Haku is one of those characters that I think he's like Wendy with a little bit more of, like, the knowledge of his potential, but I think his level of experience, like, the fact that he could kill people so easy if he had that mentality. Like, he can beat people clearly by turning the plushies and stuff and, like, having his crazy hacks. But I think Jalal being way smarter and being way more of a tactical fighter would be able to get around relatively anything that he could do. And it would come down to one of those parts where, like, even if you said, like, obviously we don't have any, like, feats to put Jalal up there right now. We'll wait until Jalal ever comes back and get some more to upgrade him. But, like, I think that when you have a experience and intelligence gap that big between the two characters, with the power gap not even being too much that it should be there, I would just, because Jalal should be relative to Laxus. They should be around level. And that should mean that he should be able to fight one of the Dark Giants or Knights. When, we don't know, because there's a compatibility thing that obviously would come into play. But I think even if you give Haku the edge, power-wise, Haku, I think, would just get completely outsmarted and outmaneuvered. You'll Thunder did not deserve to get done so dirty. I agree. How wrong do you think Jack would be if he survived Tartaros? I mean, I guess that would depend on, like, is he going to train the whole time? Is he going to absorb curse power? Like, it would depend entirely on, like, the context and the variables of what he does afterwards. I think in the same level of Mardgeir. I mean, that'd be cool. It would just, if he survived, I don't know. He's definitely dead. I'm like, there's no way that he would be alive considering Zareth went. Joel's becoming useless. Like, what do you mean? Like, what arc has he been useless? Like, there's 0 arcs where he's been useless. I'm going to stop reading your posts if you're going to make that same stupid comment every time. One of my favorite parts of the Antagonist's backstory before was he was pure evil, actually upset the villagers sacrificed his own, including the children giants. Well, he essentially slowly becomes the monster that he sought out to kill. How far do you think that King Arthur is going to go in Fairy Tail verse? I mean, he has the hacks right now. He just doesn't have the stats. And he doesn't have the feats. Like, he has broken abilities, but I mean, like, he's still going to get run over by, like, a lot of people. Like, someone like Demaria can just... I'm not great at Snap Man. There we go. Stop time cuts his head off. GG. Yuna's a good match for Mardgeir. No. Mardgeir would clap him. He can just teleport on Memento Mori. If you get touched by Memento Mori, you're paralyzed. And it's an omnidirectional thing. And on top of that, he can just absorb the light from the stars. Mardgeir can absorb light and dark magic just fine. And star magic, I mean, you should... you guys, would you count it? Because, I mean, it's literally just starlight. It's literally just beams of light. It's not an additional thing. I mean, Mardgeir, I think, would be fine. And Mardgeir was able to damage the Celestial Spirit King, who's literally made out of light. Eclipse Seascape, I'm not going to read that. I don't like this stuff about, like, trying to push crazy power levels with the Eclipse arc. I think it doesn't align with anything. Chaos Credit Stars. No, that's the hype is that it created the world, which is we haven't gotten to that point yet. I do hope Irene comes back with a human body. She will. Just gives it time. Blue Note creating a black hole is like saying Dante with singularity. People get crazy with some of that stuff. Is 100 Years Quest chapter out in English? Not yet. Let me double check. I'll go to it right now. I'll see if there's anything. I don't think there's anything out. I wish. I want to read the chapter already. I'm waiting. I'm in the boat. Let me see actually real quick. Let me go to the manga decks because that was where they've been uploading it. Because I don't think they're doing it in Weekly Sorcerer anymore. Let me double check that too. I think that they probably haven't paid for that site in a while. I think it's done. I don't think there's been a chapter for 100 Years Quest in it. We're just waiting. We're freaking waiting forever. It's gonna be a damn time. We're gonna be sitting here waiting for the chapter to come out. It makes me sad, but it is what it is sometimes. Let me see real quick. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. We're still in limbo. Machine confirmed the stronger Spring of 12 members stronger. I'm not gonna read that. Ziggy versus Yuabak. I'm gonna do Yuabak. Suzaku beats some Spriggan. Suzaku beats most of the Spriggan. The only Spriggan I think that'd be an issue for him would be August and Irene, because they're the only two that are really relevant still when it comes to like powerful characters. Gajiel have kids in the way. Meanwhile, Gajiel, I have to find out why this Toka is so sus. I mean, he was busy. The dude was doing a job. They were close to the guild, and it was somebody in there that did work on it. I think it might be an issue because Mary Jane could barely use Allegria form. I mean, that was a year plus ago, but I mean, like, I don't know if she could even use it still. Mary Jane's trash. I don't think she's trash. I think people just kind of overhype her power. Like, Mary Jane fell off power-wise. She definitely was making strides, like, getting stronger, like Alvarez and stuff. But, she was not able to contend with, like, a Spriggan normally, where it's, like, everybody else that was previously at that level that you would expect did. Like, Urza, Natsu, Gray, Laxus, Jalal, Gildarts. Mary Jane beat Madmol, in quotes, but it's like... sorry, Madmol. Jacob. but like we know the context behind it. If Mirajane got Marred Gear or E&D as Sane Soul, like that'd be OP. That'd be super broken. She don't know Natsu's E&D. I'm probably not. Like, I feel like somebody might have mentioned that at some point over the year, but I don't know why they would need to. She'll appear in Urza's show, otherwise he becomes useless. I mean, you're saying he shows up when things are relevant for him to show up? Wow, I wonder how crazy that is. Laxus beat Jalal with Feats. I mean, Laxus versus Jalal, I think, is a very, like, I can see the sides, or the argument for both sides. See Guillotine delete, either Guillotine deleting comments, or somebody deleting comments, Guillotine, I would hope. Like I said, I don't like the negativity. Oh, Jared timed them out. Good job, Jared. Yeah, I don't like the negativity. Like, it's annoying. Like, every single time, it's always like how he has to say, like, this thing that happened in Fairy Tail sucked. The Eden 01 was way better, and you should agree with me and feel like my opinion's better. It's like, I don't agree. I mean, like you can like Rebecca more than Lucy. Like, maybe she's more your style. But come on, you're high if you think that the Rebecca and Clown fight was better than the Lucy and Kyria fight. Stop. Like, Lucy Kyria fight was way more of a fight for one. It was way better. Clown was like throwing stuff at her and being funny and goofy, like, and I enjoyed that. But it's like he was more of just kind of throwing attacks at her. She broke out happy, got her guns and shot him, and then he went into Nightmare Clown and then just sent her off to the Shadow Realm. That's her fight. Kyria versus Lucy started out with Lucy and base being able to dodge Kyria, starting Kyria. This wasn't Kyria like fully out, being able to start with Kyria and being able to dodge her attacks. You see, like, the closed cut, that gag, but it was more of the show after that point when she goes into her Cancer Star dress. When she does it to Kyria, you see the gap then between Lucy at that point and what Kyria was outputting. And then you see Kyria actually fight Sirius, and you see the levels way more set. Because Kyria and Lucy should be around level, but obviously when it comes to, like, a straight physical brawl, Kyria is going to have the edge because her magic specializes in that, where Lucy's is just a byproduct of, like, how the large scope of how magic works. People got to look at context. And then you, like, looked at that. You got the whole cool character moment. You got a cool part with Laxus, too. You got Laxus even got, like, a cool moment, which was nice. And then, like, Kyria got to actually at least end it being a competent opponent. Which, yeah, Kyria is, like, she's taken, outside of her first match, she's taken pretty much just losses. But it's like, they've been losses that respect her as a fighter. Like, even when she got pushed back by Urza on the boat, she didn't get knocked unconscious. She was fine relatively and clearly would have been able to still fight. So like, even though it looked like she was going to lose in that scenario, it was still something that was surprising for her to be able to take and still, seemingly keep going with. So it's like, as long as you, like, I don't mind a character losing as long as it feels like they're being respected as characters. It still feels like, okay, well, it's not going to make them just feel like throwaway or useless or anything. It's just going to be, they're going to lose, but I'm going to give them my time with them. Like not the first time, I was going to say Veto, but it's like, we had the little cave skirmish. But like if you discount the cave skirmish, it's like the first time we really see Veto in a fight, he ends up losing, but it's like, who cares? Like, Veto realistically has taken nothing but L's. Like, he got bodied by Marileona too, but it's like, who cares? Like, because every time he's up, like, he's putting on a good show. He's not just being rolled over. He's putting up a fight and showing that his level of his use as a antagonist. Mr. Cell likes to go for a walk. Oh, Mr. Perfect Cell. Man, they're gonna bring him back for the movie. I'm gonna be upset. Yes, I'm not gonna read that. It's more star level series. Sounds crazy. It's not consistent with anything. Laxus don't become wizard, saint, and Jalal isn't a fool. What? I don't know what that means. I'm talking about Cell now. I don't care about Cell. Well, I like Cell, but I don't really care too much about Cell to talk about him. Lucy really needs to step up her hand-to-hand game if Yukino can do it. Well, the thing is, like, Lucy has ways to cheat to it because, like, she can cheat with Taurus and have the physical strength. She can cheat with Capricorn and have the combat skill instantly. Same thing with, like, Cancer and her sword skill. Yukino, during the time she was with the military, decided, you know what, I'm going to go get military hand-to-hand combat training. And I was just like, okay, yeah, damn, okay, go do it. Fuck. First one the other night's going to take Arthur down. Arthur hopefully has a good power scale. I'm hoping he lives up to that planetary hype. I think Lobelia is going to be able to use karate, just surprising as Yukino, knowing her hand-to-hand. I mean, maybe. I'm probably on the side right now that I think Lobelia might die. Like, her going out there and she has no real powers and no way to defend herself, she's probably gonna die. She'll have feats on Actology, like just punch suppressed Kieran. That's true. Camelot dimension. His Camelot dimension is cool. I like that. I really like his cool little pocket dimension of Camelot. What's up, Plasma Gun? I added you earlier because I'm gonna add some more badges and emotes tonight on the channel. So, because I think soon you guys are like halfway through the month, and like I think at the second month or your first month at like being a full member, you get another badge. So I wanted to get you guys like something, so like once you meet that mark, you get something additional to put, just to kind of like show something extra. And I scrolled down a little bit too far. I don't want to skip over a bunch of comments. Even like at least if it's a bad comment, I want to at least acknowledge it as a stupid comment. I don't think everybody's comments are stupid, by the way. I think some people, just saying the exact same thing for weeks and weeks and weeks is annoying. Like I just don't get like you come in here always with the same negativity, and every time I say like, hey man, don't be so negative. Like, why do you have to be negative every time? I'm not negative. And then it's like you do the exact same thing every week. It's just like, okay, go eat shit, I guess. From the Oracion Says I love Midnight. I like Midnight too. I've never been a huge fan of him, but I've always liked him. I've always enjoyed his company whenever he's doing stuff. You think it's weird how did Georg figure out eating a dragon gives them power? If it's that easy, dragons just 4 years ago would have eaten a lot of dragons. I feel like it's just one of those things where like most people probably wouldn't have ever thought about it because it probably just never crossed their mind. Maybe it's like there were dragon eaters at some point, or like ideas and legends of it, and he heard of it and then kind of went for it. Or maybe it's like, oh, at one point, like how about this? What if Georg is actually really old? And at some point, like, he was a starving dude, and he came across one of the battlefields and ate dragon meat, and that's how he got his powers. And it was just kind of like something that just kind of happened, like without his knowledge and attention. He just kind of stumbled upon it. Why do people defend Jalal when he's, where's Master Plan? Master Plan, you're not as much of a consistent annoyance as Guillotine. When I get caught up, if you're still saying the same slander to Jalal, that's it. I'm gonna probably have to give you a timeout. Jared, keep an eye on him. JK Network. Any of my mods, Plasma Gun, like any of you guys, like if he gets out of hand too much, I'm not a fan of the spam stuff. Like I don't mind some spam. When people spam the same thing and then I acknowledge it and they say the same thing again, it's like, what do you want me to do? Well, I'm not gonna come up with some new revelation because I read the post you made 15 minutes ago. Calm the fuck down. Also, just because it's been a chunk, I would appreciate it, if you guys, we got good numbers. 26 people watching, 22 likes. I can't complain too much then. I was going to say that, try and get a couple more thumbs up. I would appreciate it, though, if anybody who hasn't, if you want to thumbs up the stream. Donate if you can, if you want to. You don't have to. Obviously, it's all optional. If you want to donate $1 or $2 my way, that's cool. But there's also the idea of being a member. If you become a member, it's cheaper and you probably get more stuff. Also, if your member is similar to Super Chats, I'm going to notice that it's not the same thing, obviously, as Super Chats, because obviously Super Chats got a big, colorful box. But you get a colorful name and a little badge, so I'm going to notice you pretty good. And on my video comments, they get priority, so I can see member comments over anybody else's comments. I didn't even know that initially that was going to be a thing. It seems like a nice perk. Where was I? Yamcha is getting bodied by plethora characters in Fairy Tail. Yeah, Yamcha's ass. Yeah, like if Brandish was serious without magic, she'd clap Kana. I mean, yeah, because that's some things like you can't use a gag feat. You can't use something that's silly. It's like when you have like Goku afraid of Chi-Chi, Luffy getting punched by Nami, or like anything like that. It's like, yeah, cool. Like she leaves a bump on Luffy's head. You don't take that seriously and be like, well, Kaido didn't do this until this attack. So because Kaido's hybrid form Thunder Bagua did as much as Nami's punch, that means Nami. It's like, no, you can't use gag stuff. Like using parts that's done to be silly and more for fun. You can't use that as like a gauging in a scenario. Like that's not how it works. Rax Machias could be like the androids from Eden Zero. I would hope so. I think that'd be cool if we ever got him. Haku is my favorite Dark Dragon Slayer Knight. He's so relatable. Are you a fan of Wendy too, or just like are there characters you would be like him and simp for and you wouldn't be able to fight? I think Haku's fine. Like I figured Haku would have the crush on Wendy when we got his personality, and I think it just made sense that like if they ever met, she's so nice. They're around the same age, both dragon slayers. Like the stars aligned for that one. Like Haku is in a better spot than Masaki, but obviously when you look at Suzaku and you look at Kirin, they both are, they obviously are standing better. Granted, like factually, I like Haku. Masaki is definitely like on my lower end right now. I think right now for my Dragon Eaters, Masaki's probably near the bottom because like she's the only one that hasn't got like any character stuff. Hopefully in the future we'll get some character stuff. But when you look at like obviously comparative out of the four, we look at Suzaku and we look at Kirin. They're looking way better. Misaki and Haku, their important stuff is moving forward. Like where are they going to be after this? Are we going to see some Haku in more serious light where he looks better? Is Misaki going to get back up and fight Urza and like, take her seriously this time? I think stuff like that is going to be more of the deciding stuff on like where they go. Like even though Dante lost to Magna, I was like, well, okay, I don't really mind that because of the context. It's going to depend on where things go from here. Where does it go from here where Dante's character is going? And it didn't seem to really go anywhere. So it's like, well, I guess that's that. So it's like, you leave it off on a sour note. So if Masaki leaves off on that note, that would be unfortunate. Like that would be really unfortunate for his character. Haku, I think it might do a little bit better. Mishima usually is a little bit nicer to the goofy characters. This guy's just like yelling about, why are you talking about like plot armor, power, friendship? What are you even arguing about? Rex, I don't think regenerating a third is possible. Okay, you know what also isn't? Regenerating a heart. Guess what dragons can do? Regenerate organs and their bodies. It's almost like we opened this arc with it. Bullets can't pierce my MC's skin, but it still hurts. Oh, that would suck. That does pretty much like getting hit by paintballs and like BBs, and like I know that still sucks. It's this plot plot don't save the dragons. We know what dragons do though. Like we know that they can literally get new organs. Vince, I need you to take a breather, my guy. Take a breather. All on record stated to be relative to Acnologia, or is it Mandela effect? They were stated to be relative, like somewhere around that level. I'm glad Eden Zero Happy has been utilized in the fight against Clown, because even though he's not a great character, I'm glad that he was being useful. I wish that instead of the gun form, she went into different, or like the Happy Blasters, she went into like, I want to see something like a rifle with like his cool tail laser, like a bayonet blade. Like imagine if she did that, where she was like shooting somebody with a rifle, but also kind of trying to like pierce and slash at him with the laser sword. That'd be like peak Rebecca. Like Rebecca doing some sick gun rifle style combat, I think would be amazing. That would probably be what would put Rebecca an extra notch up. Like Mishima, please, somehow Mishima randomly click on this stream only for these couple seconds and come up with the idea, please. I want to see gun rifle, like, with a blade, Rebecca. Please. Please. Like, that'd be sick. Okay, somebody time out Vince. He's being a little bit too spazzy, and I don't like spazzes. Vince, you can stay, but calm down, dude. Just calm down. Just take a breather, my guy. With how broken his gravity is, how far do you think Ziggy can wash Lucifaro? I don't think he can beat Lucifaro yet. The thing is, like, Singularity's a bitch, and the regeneration that he has is rough. The thing that Ziggy, Wormhole. I wonder what he could do. Like, what he could like if he just did Wormhole and just like randomly left him on some like it's some random desolate planet out in space. I guess that would kind of count as a. Excuse me. He's kind of like trying to climb into a bowl. Excuse me. You're fine. Just lay down. I'm doing stuff. I'm trying to stream. They're just mad at people. Are mad at Vince now. Sokka beats Demario. What about her time stop? I think he would blitz and one shot her. Like you put them against each other. I think like once like Suzaku started that fight, it says go. He's gonna just. Hang on, let me snap. Let me try and snap again. Hang on. There we go. He's just gonna be past her like he did with Natsu and cut her down. Could Memento Mori work on Kath or King Arthur since now he absorbed said transall life and death above immortality? I don't. Did they say that he did that? Oh, are you talking about how like Memento Mori worked? Yeah, because I was like Memento Mori does that. It voids the concepts of life and death. So I think it would work because it's also a curse. and it doesn't have anything to do with like magic and stuff. So like how general magic resistance is not going to be the same, and curses in the series of even Steadily Sins is like additional to what like magic is. It's like an actually outside thing as well. I think Lucy will get a Celestial Spirit King Star Dress endgame. A lot of people have thought that. I've always been on board with that. Think Restaurers will come back in Hunter's Quest? No, no. There's no way we're getting. There's no way we're getting back. Even though Burial sucks, they were annoyed that he got one shotted and never came back, and the character was important. Oh, I never cared about it. Like the only thing I was like a little bit annoyed is like he had all those cool bugs, and I wanted to see more of that. But it's like Burial was neat, but I mean that's about it. Like he was neat. It's like cool, okay. Like and he lost in a spot that I was like, yeah, like Haru just came out of there and became the real like the true second Rave Master. Of course he was gonna body that dude. Of course. Imagine Haku also had his spirit friend like Wendy had with Irene. I guess it would depend on like who it is. Like who would he be talking to? Who would his spirit be? Like Sanji? Simp for her, Haku. Go. Yes. Now blush. Don't hurt her. It's like okay. Yes, now pull your punches and get yourself screwed. Oh, wait. How could it be? Wait, what? Trust me, it's a good idea. Okay. Suzaku's here, Natsu, don't want Dogramag. Oh, no, he's just... Dogramag's not going to let Natsu just kind of mosey away. Like, Natsu tried to get past him. I think it's stronger, Laxus or Natsu? Oh, definitely Natsu. Natsu's definitely stronger right now. That's not up for debate. Since Rebecca's main power so far is speed, I need some light or at least lightning speed feats. Oh no, she's got time amplification. She's got a whole different degree of what she can do rather than light or lightning. Like time can be a lot more fun and tricky, and that's why I want her to kind of also be like. I want her ability to get to a point where she gets utility and she gets kind of like a hybrid, kind of like Racer. Like, I think it'd be so cool if she was speeding herself up and like her allies, but she was slowing her enemies down. Like she just kind of did what Racer could do and like slow their perception of time down. So like they like did make it seem like she was even faster and dampen them. Something like that I think would be really cool because Rebecca so far hasn't had any like power-wise attacks. I think it'd be cool to give her more utility, or at least like maybe not utility, but more of kind of like. Not utility like Lucy's, but more kind of like Wendy's with stuff like buffs and different kind of things she could do. Like if she could also do stuff with healing. Like if she could reverse wounds, kind of like Julius. I think stuff like that would be really beneficial to her. It would definitely add a huge extra piece to the team. The only thing I would say is like, if she has a way to heal, that's gonna put some death flex on Sister. That's gonna put Sister in the hot seat. How strong is Marred Gear compared to the Spriggans? Marred Gear is like in that spot. Like I usually say, like if you took the tiers, you have Wizard Saint, then you have a kind of like a general kind of weird spot between them with people like the Celestial Spirit King, Marred Gear, Hades, and then you have Spriggan. He's like in a weird subdivision between the two. What's up though, Plasma Gun? How are you doing? I don't like the MC girlfriends. I guess my favorite Elizabeth because I don't like her because I like her backstory. Why do you like the girls? Usually, most of the female leads I enjoy. So can we say whatever wizard eat that have magic, he becomes a slayer of that? Wait, what? Oh, I was thinking wizard from Eden's Zero. Yeah, it seems like whatever type of dragon you eat, you become a dragon of that exact type. Yes. Why is Master? I don't get why Master Plan is so angry at Jalal. If Ellie shot August with a Therion, would he be undamaged because Shakuma was severely damaged? That's a weird one because like his whole ability is if he learns it, he can become immune to it, and hers is like literally like the idea of like a caster and not like a oh my God, I'm trying to English right now. Like it runs right into like his general area. I think it would depend on the level of Ethereon that Ellie puts out. If it was the same one that hit Shakuma, I think he would be fine. But if she like pulled out all the stops and went all in with Ethereon, then we have some odd areas kind of going on. But I was gonna say Holder Magic. That's what I said. I was like Caster Magic, Holder Magic. I was like all fuzzled in my head for a second trying to remember. Major difference between Nami and Sakura. Nami respects Luffy when it matters most. Luffy's stupid. Naruto makes things. Wait, Luffy is more stupid than Naruto, and Luffy makes things in stride much better. Yeah, I mean, I guess, but I mean, like, it's not it's a different scenario. What's up, Ner? Though, how you doing? I almost scrolled past some of these comments. I would have missed what Ner had to say. Current Rebecca versus Grand Magic Games Lucy. I'd still put it on Lucy. Rebecca, like, the problem with Rebecca right now is she doesn't really have anything that impressive combat wise. Because she's mostly just fast and nimble. She doesn't have anything really that dangerous. Whereas, like Lucy had stuff, like, Lucy had Aronometry already. She already had Gemini. She already could do 2 spirits. Like, Grand Magic Games is where Lucy started to really take good steps forward as a fighter. And I'm hoping that's going to be the same thing for Rebecca now. Imagine eating like Sayla and you get Devil Slayer magic and her curse play. That's not the same thing. But that'd be neat if like that's how Devil Slaying works. You just go eat one of them, chop off her legs. I don't like Joel because everyone said he is strong, lacks his skill endurance, and has no feats. Yes, he does. Like, what do you mean? He beat one of the God Seeds. Like, you serious? I really said. Oh, hang on a second. Let's see. I can't wait for Lucy versus Brandish. Oh, like a serious one, especially when Brandish fight seriously. I think Lucy's got it now. Like, legitimately, I think Lucy's got it now. Like, after her Kyria and Mimi fights, I think Lucy will do fine. Because, like, the problem, like, the thing is, though, for sure, like, we haven't seen Brandish in a full-scale fight. But, like, a lot of her best, like, broken moves, I don't think would work on Lucy anymore. Like, being able to, like, mess with her organs and stuff, I don't think that'd work. Because I think right now Lucy has more magical... hiccup right there. I think Lucy has more magical power. But I think that Brandish has a greater level of overall utility because she can affect relatively anything. Like, she could legitimately shrink herself to dodge attacks and stuff. Like, bam, shrink down, something goes right over her head, goes right past her. Become giant, like maybe grab a giant chunk of land or something to block an attack or, whatever. Maybe she could literally become giant and jump really high to dodge something. Like, there's a lot of just general small things she could do utility-wise with it. Or, like, mess with specific attacks. Maybe she can't mess with Lucy directly, but she can kind of do, like, when she used her Command T to mess with Aquametria. And just kind of, like, shrink and compress it. Let me see. I'd be really sad if Brandish ended up with Aquarius. I don't think that'll happen. I really don't think it'll happen. Major difference between... Oh, here, this one... I'm in more of a Sharia fan, but on the chapter when Haku fought Wendy, she had so many cute panels. And it was a nice chapter. Like, I don't know why everybody expects, like, every character show up to be some, like, crazy, blood-hungry killer or something, where it's like, I like that you have... Like, one of the things I really liked about the chapter, so you can go back and look at them, is the fact that we had the Haku fight and the Kirin fight at the same time. So we'd see, like... Haku's blushing, being goofy, just trying to like figure out how to talk to Wendy and stuff, and it's entertaining, but it's kind of wholesome at the same time. And then you peer over, and Kirin is fucking smashing Laxus with a goddamn coffin into the ground, and then just like enjoying himself with his freaking Jack the Ripper monocle and top hat, looking like a badass. Like, I really like the contrast between them, and it really gives the Dark Dragon Slayer Knight some good actual character to them, where they have a difference between them. You can see they're all very different. Misaki's the only one that's a little weird because like we don't really have much from Misaki's character right now. Coming for Urza's reaction for Irene inside Wendy. I think Urza's going to be more confused. I don't think it's going to be as like monumental because she doesn't care about her mom as much, but I think she's just going to be like, what? Like, she's going to be like, what are you talking about? How does that even work? I mean, bullets travel at high speed. Higher velocity means greater force. Main character's generation abilities evolves as the series goes on. Well, can he block a railgun though? Or not like Jalal when she knew that he was done with his daughter. I don't think Irene would care that much because that's kind of her fault in the first place. Like, what is she gonna do? Be mad at Jalal that they had the whole incident in the tower? You know how she wouldn't have been in the tower if Irene didn't leave her in Rosemary. Yeah, Vince needs to calm down. I agree, plasma gun. Urza, don't like Irene. Oh, it's just, planning in. Urza is a fool. It is a fool to like Jalal. Jalal's badass. What do you mean? Jalal's cool. I don't know why people don't like Jalal sometimes. I'm surprised. So far I've actually noticed like everybody that doesn't like Jalal is an Urza stan that's mad that Jalal is gonna be the one clapping cheeks with her. Maker is very self-deprecating to deconstruct female hitting male tropes. Accidental perversion. It fuels his hatred, which fuels his power. Ergo, he loses his mind. He just become like a berserker. There's just people mad at playing now because he's like upset about Jalal. Urza suffered a lot because of Jalal and Simon, but better for Urza. I mean, ultimately it was Irene's fault though. It was because of Irene. She left her there. How is it Jalal's fault? Jalal got brainwashed by Ultir. That's a terrible take. How much trouble would Scullion have against Ajo because Ajo's bigger AoE? I think Scullion would be fine. Scullion just has to catch him out once. I don't think that he really has to worry about the same thing with Agil because Agil has to grab him to drain him, whereas like both of them can be their elements, but we know Scullion can turn other elements into ash, so he can probably turn sand into ash just fine. Spot won't quit, apparently. Can I just let me see. Can I just straight ban him? I should be able to straight ban the sex bot. Is it still there? Or is it gone? I think it might be gone. Guild Arts trash Joel. I mean, that's Guild Arts. I think Guild Arts would be Joel, but I mean, that's Guild Arts. There's talking about like Simon. Now beware the bots racks. Apparently, I got a bunch of bots. Does Dogramag smell with his nose in human form, or unfamiliar with it since his dragon form has no note? Ooh, you might have just blown my mind on that. That's a good point. I'm not. Do you think when he went to human form, he's like, so this is what smelling is like? Interesting. He's got no nose, so I mean, I guess yeah. That's a good point. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think about that fact. I need to ask Quan about this. This was something that Quan and I had to laugh over when it came to like the no nose jokes. It's like it goes like ultimately like it goes back, at least to me. I don't think any other spot deserves the whole no nose thing other than like Krillin when he had no nose, just because it was so funny. But it's like that's essentially what happened with the Chia. It's just in reverse. It's funny because like with Urza, people hated on Creed mostly because they thought it was they're gonna be yes, that was the same thing. People hated on Creed just because like Creed had a thing with on Homura. It's like you're getting salty over a fictional character having a thing for a fictional character where it's like if you were in the verse you'd be fucking simping for him too. Shut up. Like all of those people are just mad that that Creed is being them in the series. It's just the same thing. Jalal's Jalal's on a few steps away from getting some of them Urza cheeks. Am I about caught up? Oh my god, I'm finally caught up. Sweet. Urza stands mad on Jalal. Yes, they're usually crabby about it. So self-taught and a little blood of dragon bathing. Oh, that's not really what I have to act like. Acting like he was never trained by a dragon. No. So the thing is, like, for each of the different gens has. Hang on, let me ban the sex bot because he won't go away. Sex bot, get out of here. I'm sorry. Where's like straight ban user? Oh, I think I have to do that in my actual stuff. I'll just put user in time. Oh, hide user on this channel. Bam, gone forever. You're gone. See ya. Fucking gone. But each of the different gen types has it. Like one of the big factors is how exactly they're achieved. First gen, you learn it because like you're generally from a dragon, but we know it's people like Elisir and Ecology were self-taught. Second gen involves a locker, but 3 involves 1 and 2. 4 is like objects and things made into Dragon Slayers, like using Dragon Slayer magic and whatnot. It's a little bit vague. And 5th gen is by eating them. You still streaming, Rex? Yes, I am still streaming. I said I was gonna go for 3 hours. I said at least 3 hours, but I mean, I guess I'll just go for 3 hours. Like I got other stuff to do today, and it's like we got a good amount of people here, so it's like obviously I'm gonna try and keep them going. I'm gonna try and keep chatting and try and keep some conversation going. Why wouldn't I?
I'm seeing some slander. I got so annoyed. Hang on a second. Let me real quick. I got so annoyed. Faith said that he likes Natsu as much as Leopold, and I'm like, that's some shit. Like, imagine if I said Eren, like, I like Eren as much as Droy. I'd be like, even if that was true, it sounds so slanderous. Like, it's just like, you're gonna compare, like, the like of Natsu to Leopold? That's goofy. Let me see. 1 second. Faith just doesn't like Faith doesn't like main characters who are like hotheads. I don't know why. Those are like half the fun ones. Like those are the most fun ones, in fact. Like the ones that are just like Natsu. Natsu is so much fun to see do shit. I love just watching him go crazy. Like when he just kind of like Natsu would remember when he went and fought Jackal, and it's just like Jackal tried to stop and have like a conversation to like explain his abilities, and Natsu said, "Nope, no time to breathe," and just kept going. Like shit like that. Like that's one of the things I love about Natsu. And Natsu has some of like my favorite development for a main character. Because, like, one of my favorites is definitely when he went to Alvarez and he's like, I don't like killing people, but, like, this is a war, and I have to put that aside, and I have to do what I need to do. He's like, I have to kill some people sometimes. Because, realistically, if you let certain people live, they're going to cause more bloodshed and destruction, and eventually that's going to come around to the people you care about. And that's something I always thought was super mature that he realized. Because, like, even though he doesn't want to kill people, he's like, some people I gotta. Because it's for the greater good. It's not even for the greater good. It's really like killing this person is killing this person. Like, is the trade-off not killing them going to be worth the amount of bodies that they take later? No. Absolutely not. That's like one of the reasons I hate the fact that Frieza is still fucking running around in Dragon Ball Super. It's like Frieza's out enslaving planets, and they're just letting him do it. And it's so stupid. They're at home hanging out laughing, and it's like they're fully aware Frieza's going from planet to planet, enslaving entire worlds and killing people in mass. And it's just like, why? Why would you let that happen? That makes no sense. It's one of the reasons I know Luffy's not going to kill Kaido, but I wish he would kill Kaido. Though I'm kind of expecting Kaido to get the Tama mind control and become a slave to Wano or something. Get back to fixing it or something. Become a warrior of the land. If Lexus beats Karen, there will be no equal. I mean, that's... The thing is, like, if Laxus does beat Karen, it's kind of going to be like the same thing like Jalal... Or sorry, the Urza and Gray, where it's just like... You can make the argument overall, but it's like based off of feats right now, not really. Because if he beats Kieran factually, at least until Jalal gets better feats, Laxus will just have better feats at that point, and that'll be undeniable. Jalal's maybe altered. Yes, like it's not even fair. Like it's not like he just did it for fun. Alderaan 50%. I don't think it was Alderaan 50%. The way that I looked at it is each of the God Seeds were an equal amount of his power. And 3 of the 4, because you're not going to count the main one, 3 of the 4 were defeated. So I think at that point, he was only at 1/4 of his full power. That was my belief, at least. Because he got, it seemed to just be like each time each time one died, he lost a chunk of his magic and stuff. And like his general dragon-y abilities. Kenzie, it's back. What's back? Oh, he's talking about the sex bot. I'm mad at Lucy, but I would never simp for Natsu. I mean, I've seen enough of these freaking fangirls on Twitter that simp for Natsu, and some people like him like that. He's my main character. The only character that I openly simp for is Celine. Oh, we get to see the ranks of the Rascal States Interstellar members, aside from Captain Jaguar. I'd like to see some more stuff with them soon. Ashisura and Zaref never manipulated somebody. What are you talking about? I don't know what's going on there. Would you think Ignia would use Lucy against Natsu if you realized how important Lucy's Natsu? Yes, 100%. 100%. Rex, people hate Jalal so much at the time he said that was evil as sure. That's insane. Nah, it's like, if you were talking about Tower of Heaven Jalal, sure, but we know that that wasn't like Jalal's true nature. Jalal was
he chose that path, but it's like he was nudged down and kind of like pushed down that path a little bit by Old Tear. She kind of like led him down there. Whereas Shura was always like, Shura wasn't always like that, but Shura turned into that naturally. That was like who Shura was as a person. Like Jalal was brainwashed and like, you know, given falsities to it. What's up, Gino Jace? How's it going, man? Jalal got beat by August and came out nowhere to fight Acnologia. Make no sense. He didn't really fight Acnologia. All he did was like push him. Are you talking about like when he showed up to like try and combat like the human form and did nothing? Like he showed up to try and do something. He was on the ground for what, like a good chunk of that second half of the arc, unconscious. Maybe not unconscious, but you know, beaten up that he was on the ground. Second and fifth gen are my favorite. They're pretty cool. I mean, I really like first gen. Like I think having Dragon Force at will is a better trade-off than no motion sickness. Like the not being able to use Dragon Force at will is like, it's such a bad, like it's such a rough trade. It's not a bad trade, but it's a rough trade. Like, because Dragon Force is such a huge boost when you get it, but like to have it only kind of like how the Endura are, where it's like this last resort, relatively all-in move that you can't come back from, it's just rough. Do you prefer the Soul Dragon Slayer for Acnologia since he was stated to be able to reap souls? Well, no, he's a magic dragon. It's just straight magic. Artail's crazy for that. Yeah, Faith was out of pocket for that one. Faith was out of pocket during the stream too. Like he was saying Yami could tank shit like Zeldris's Disarray. Like that's like, no, that would kill him. Like one of those is gonna obliterate his whole body. 1 second. I have to get mad at Quan right now. One second. I gotta throw low key shade at Faith. Just a little bit for a second. Just a little bit of shade. Not too crazy. Just enough to, you know, just enough. I'll save the incel Aaron stuff if I have to. I don't know. I every time I think about like Aaron, like when it comes to like Attack on Titan, it's like he jumped right to genocide, which I think was one of the fucking stupidest things for him to do. Like he could have literally just parked the Colossal Titans outside of countries and used them kind of like WMDs and just said like try something and get crushed kind of a thing and just brought peace through force. I think that would have been a way smarter idea because it would have been something that as long as they keep whoever the founding Titan is at the time a secret, they can keep the world in check. And I feel like most countries would be fine with that because ultimately they're safer because of it. And at that point, you don't even need a military. And you could, you know, pretty much, it could be one of these other countries that don't need a military because they have America at their back. So they can use all that funding instead towards, you know, whatever else they need. You know, whatever they want to do for their people or crazy things. Like, what is it? Is it Sweden that has, like, they make bridges that go through the water? This shit looks cool. Not like a bridge over water, but it's like a bridge through the water. It's really neat. Naruto left Orochimaru left. Then Orochimaru just hanging out with the village is really stupid too, I agree. Like why? Like the dude was awful. He experimented on so many people and they're just gonna kinda let him just hang out. It's an insult like saying I like Gray as much as like that's what I'm saying, dude. What's up, Sam Jace? How's it going, man? But it's like imagine if it's like I was like, you know, man, I like Shiki about as much as I like the belly button guy from My Ear or something. It's just like that could be true, but it's like you're gonna it's insulting just the way it comes out. Like you're intentionally picking some super mid character to put him up against. Like you know what you're doing. Imagine if Shalal got his Acnologia fight boost during his fight with August. Well, he didn't really get a boost. Like he pretty much like when he made the barrier and blocked that one attack, he blocked like a random stray non-named black like energy attack that Acnologia did, and then did no damage, And then once Acnologia, like when they're over the ocean, all he did was run into Acnologia to try and push him, which wasn't doing anything either. He was just trying. He didn't really get a boost. I say I don't punch women just because of the hell out of it, but I will if I have to. Besides, the battlefield knows no gender. I mean, you gotta respect them as warriors. Frieza kills millions of people, then Goku can be like, Frieza, let's be friends and fight. Ugh, I hate how they just kind of let Frieza wander around. It bothers me so much. If Laxus would beat Kieran, Laxus would be Gildart's tier. I think he'd be around that. The thing is, like, we don't know how strong Gildart's is. Like, I feel like Gildart's got stronger over the last year, too. Well, I don't think Gildart's just sits around. I don't mind if Jalal got, mind if Jalal get Urza. The problem, I don't like Jalal's a character better villain. Jalal's character is great. Like, I love redemption stories, and Jalal's was so good. And all those years, he's just trying really hard to make up for all the shit he did. Like, I really liked how it wasn't, like, what he did wasn't brushed under the rug, or he got over it in, like, a week. Like, that stuck with him for years. Because realistically, enslaving your friends and people for years, and you murder one of them in front of somebody, like, in front of the woman you love, like, and just straight killing him, and then laughing about it, that's gonna sit with you. That's gonna sit with you for a while. And that was one of the things I really liked about it. And it's the same thing I liked about, like, Natsu's development. A lot of Natsu's development and stuff, it feels more real. It feels more of like he's not just, he doesn't just have some time skip where he's, his personality takes a freaking 50-degree turn and he's partially halfway a new character. The thing I always liked about it is, like, he's relatively, as a person, he's the same guy. But aspects of how he thinks and behaves and operates, he develops and matures. Because that's one of the things I've always enjoyed. He tries to stay who he is while growing as a person. And I think that kind of development makes more sense. And that's one of the reasons I like Mishima's more. And that's one of the things that, like, that you see also with Haru and Shiki. I think with Natsu it's a lot more different, because Shiki's does get a little bit more of that kind of, like, a little bit of shift in his personality, and Haru does a little bit too. Whereas part of Natsu's is specifically, like, to maintain who he is while growing as a person. Because, like, he had the whole thing, obviously, are you a dragon or are you a demon? He's him. He is human. He is Natsu. Like, stuff like that. Like, I like that, because that just kind of feels more real world development. It's not like, time skip. I'm it goes from Eren. I gotta use Eren as an example. He's screaming, shouting, shrieking dude. All the Titans should die, and he's just ass mad that they exist and grumpy. And then time skip, and he's, yes, this is all part of my plan. We're gonna get through this. Like, he's just, like, now this fucking war-hardened dude who's, like, emotionally dead, and it's just like, dude, shut up. And then it turns out he's a method actor, and he's just a pussy the whole time. That shit was funny. That part did make me laugh. He's just pretty much the Jared Leto of freaking main characters. It is what it is. I mean, like, the thing is, like, I know I wish Faith was more of a Tokyo Ghoul stan, because I actually like Kaneki, whereas, like, I don't really like Eren. I like Kaneki. The only thing about Kaneki that ever made me is when he cried after he lost his virginity. I know that happens sometimes. Like, there's a lot, like, he had obviously tons of emotional baggage. But, I mean, like, I was like, damn it, dude. But, like, at least it was, like, the lady who later became his life, and it wasn't just some random chick. So it's, like, it was more of an emotional connection thing rather than just him having a breakdown in front of some girl he banged. So it was, thumbs up. I actually like Kaneki. I think Kaneki's cool. Though, Eren's an incel simp. Joel fought acting like human dragon form, and acting like he was going for Ichia's ship. He didn't do anything, though. Like, he did nothing. He did literally nothing against Acnologia. Okay, one second. I'll let a couple of comments stack up. I want to see. Oh, man. Let me see real quick. Twannis asked me who would win between Soifon and Toshiro. Soifon. Sec. I'm the speed type, so I can get back to the comments as fast as possible. Okay. Let me get back to some of these right quick. Oh, one sec. I have to throw some a little more low key shade. Faith is good people, but Faith annoys me when he always wants to low key slander fairies, so it bothers me. I can't ever tell though if he's doing it because he wants to or if he's doing it because he knows it gets to me. Either way, it's what it is. I can't stop him, but I can throw low key shade back. Gears will have beat Jalal if Ultir doesn't appear. I mean, it's okay. Jalal has that. That's something that is set to his character. It's what it is. That wasn't even a fair... Like, if it wasn't for that, that wouldn't have been a fair fight. Like, he just immediately got that on him from the start. Gears is... I guess it's kind of hard, because, like, really, it's, like, Alderaan as a whole. But, I mean, like, Gears is a bitch to fight. Like, if you don't have a way to counter that, you're pretty much done from the start. I like Kagura and Jalal relation. Oh, yeah, too. It's nice. It's a nice little side relation. Eren is an insult. Yes, he is. Eren at the end, dude. Like, Eren at the end, and he's in the sand sobbing. It looks like he's about to wet his pants. Like, it's bad. Like, that was, like, I don't know what was going on with that. Toshiro. He's like, it's because Quanta's arguing with, like, a Toshiro stan. Toshiro, like, there's a guy, like, saying that Toshiro could beat Baragon. I don't think so. Like, the best you could say... Like, let me see this. The best you could really say is, like, Toshiro in his adult form, but I don't really know, just because, like, the way that Respiro works, and they didn't beat Baragon in power. They beat Baragon through, like, using his own hacks. And the thing is, like, Baragon got further upgrade when we found out that... oh my god, I forgot his name. Was it Ikkyo Domaway or whatever, is like supposedly like the equal to Baragon, and he's like the strongest otherwise hollow, and he was like really crazy powerful. They fought to like a standstill, but I wonder if that's like it's because like one is like hard crazy like outright power, while one is hacks, pretty much just super busted hacks, aging stuff into dust. You explain who those two dudes at the end of the show were looking at Zareth and Mavis on Lucy's party. Although they were reincarnations, the same thing with the Claire. There just seems to be this weird thing with like when immortal people die, they are reincarnated. Like they're spontaneously reincarnated. But it's like they're the image, I assume, like maybe part of the soul of them, but like they have no memories, no powers, or any relations to the characters. Like it's really weird. Like a lot of people wonder, I can't remember if Mishima confirmed anything about it, if they were like almost fever dreamish, like they could only see them, but maybe they weren't actually there. Like it was a little strange. I always thought that was a weird, neat little ending piece. Because it's like, we've seen it before, like we saw at the end of Phoenix Priestess, but it's like it's left really kind of vague and open-ended. But I think that's part of the point. I don't know about Attack on Titan, I dropped it after 4 episodes. Oh, dude, Eren, there's a time skip, and then Eren suddenly is like cool, like a cool deadpan emotional face guy, and he's all serious all the time and mean, but it's literally all method acting. He's pretending, and then at the end he starts crying and sobbing on the ground because he doesn't get to be with Mikasa, who at best is like a 5 out of 10 and has literally Gaja's face with longer hair. Like it's not even longer, it's like not that much longer anymore too. Like she got the haircut, she looks kind of like him. Eren Farbarangel? No, dude. Eren is like a simp in the worst way. Jalal is a simp towards a girl that he actually loves that will go somewhere. Whereas like Eren was throwing, think about it like this. At a point, Jalal was like, even though I love Urza, I don't deserve her after everything I did. I hope she's happy to be out there. Eren was crying in the dirt. Crying, like literally it looked like snot should be going down his nose, and he get to that point where he can't talk. He's like he's like doing hiccups, and like you can't understand him. Like legit, it looked like he was about to wet his pants or something over like the idea of Mikasa getting plowed by somebody else. It's like, dude, shut up. You never even made your move. Like she's a childhood friend. You never like held hands with at best. I guess Eren did die a virgin. It was pretty funny. Joel only acting like his magic. Yeah, like Joel accomplished nothing really. Like, I guess he distracted him a little bit and helped before like Ichiya ran Christina into him. Who's a better villain in your mind, Toguro or Sensui from Yu Hakusho? I always liked Toguro more. I thought Toguro was a way more interesting villain. Like, Sensui's cool, but I always thought Toguro was just more of a fully rounded, interesting bad guy and pretty cool. Dobby got iced out. Yeah, dude, the fight got so short. I was mad about that. But it's like, I kind of get it because, like, they were running on a timer because he was just burning up his whole body. Spriggan 2022 looks fire. I can't wait. Spriggan 2022. I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm intrigued. Jackal versus Haku? Haku bodies. What are you talking about? Tosho probably worst prodigy ever. I mean, he's literally better designed Rill. Like, he's carried by his design. He's an ass. My Hero is a 0 out of 10. That's not true. Like, My Hero is probably like a 7 out of 10. Who's the better? Oh, here's this one. Let me see this one. I'm guessing you meant Faith. That Jalal would have a role in the remaining of the arc. I don't think it'll be this arc. Maybe, but I mean, Mishima... I think Mishima's going to include Jalal at some point. I hope so. I just want, like... I want one really good Jalal moment. Like, I'm really hoping still, fingers crossed on that Dragon Eater Jalal. But I'm hoping overall we just get, like, one more, like, good... Like, an actual Jalal fight. Because the Jalal Gears fight was more of a Jalal character moment fight. Whereas, like, I want to see Jalal have a battle. Like, I just want one. I would appreciate one. If Shiro told Natsu, like he told Shiki that he had the time, he'd make Lucy a pet and torture her. Natsu. Oh, Natsu would immediately go and beat the shit out of him. Like, Natsu might actually kill him at that point. Like, I think if you put Natsu in the scenario where Shiki was, Natsu would have killed him. Natsu would have absolutely knew that this guy has to die. Like, if this was a much younger Natsu, it'd be a different story. But we know Natsu, like, would have been like, yeah, you have to die. You are outright just a terrible character. Terrible character. He's not a terrible character, obviously, from a villain standpoint. He was really good. But he's like, you're a terrible person. I'm going to kill you. Like, that's it. Like, you got to go. Pick the Titan Shifter hotter than Mikasa. That's true. She got that ass. Cancer will grow Urza's Nightwalker hair back. I hope so. I'm not a huge fan of the short-haired Urza. I know some people were. I'm not a short-haired Urza kind of guy. Sensui clears. I know most people probably would pick Sensui, but I always liked Toguro more. I thought Toguro was really interesting. Prime Igneel and Base Zera versus 5 Dragon Gods. I mean, they're going to get their asses kicked. Like, Prime Igneel is a little bit weird. It seems to be insinuated before Acnologia and all the Dragon God stuff that Igneel was, like, top dragon. But it's like, they're going to lose. Like, they can't do anything against the Dragon Gods. They're just talking to each other, and I see people getting mad at each other in the chat. Say what you want about Eren, but Yuki Kaji was a major selling point. Yuki Kaji? I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna Google it. Yuki Kaji. Oh, his voice actor? I mean, I don't have anything against the voice actor. I think the character is just like... There are issues there are issues I have with Eren, but it's like Eren's whole character shift went like over a time skip where he went from some like shrieking angry dude who's just constantly be like die Titans die, he's just mad, and then it's like he suddenly is like this war-hardened dude who's actually just method acting, and he's actually just like about to cry all the time. Moon Sword Saint Dragon Suzaku, that'd be pretty sick. Like, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I would think that'd be sick. Hoping for that Moon Dragon Slayer Jalal. Enough. I want a heavenly body dragon Jalal, a space dragon. I grew up best as a 4 out of 10. Give it a little higher than that. Jay saying Bleach is no bad arc was funny to me. Well, I mean, what arc in Bleach is bad? There's only like 4 arcs in Bleach, or no? You have 5. You have the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, Soul Society, Waco Mundo. If you count like all of Waco Mundo, I'll just kind of go with that because it's obviously the base arc. Execution and 1,000 Year Blood War. And 1,000 Year Blood War and Execution had faults, but it's like I thought overall they're pretty good. I read Execution as coming out. Tsukishima and Ginjo were both really cool. Like, Tsukishima is a really interesting bad guy, and he got way more personal with Ichigo than Aizen ever did. He got way more grounded into like attacking him on a personal family level. Crash your plans like Ignia did? I mean, maybe. I personally support Sensui, but both are fantastic villains. Yeah, people always really like those two. Ever seen any fan art of Ignia making Natsu jealous? I know people have done that. I've seen that one fan chapter where he like kisses her kind of like Lucia style. I'm hoping he more would like try and outright just kill her. Like, I don't think kissing would be the same thing. Because like Haru Haru was what? I think of age-wise at the time he was what, like 16? Whereas like Natsu and Lucy are in their like early 20s now. Like I don't think it's the same level of issue. Obviously it would piss him off, but it's like the first kiss from Ellie, in her, as a teen, I think is going to have way more impact. Whereas like I think Igni is just going to try and kill her. Unless he like tries to, I think if Igni would do it, he would do it way more aggressively, do like some Slave Leia type stuff where he gets her like on a chain and some skimpy outfit and kind of like literally pulls her around as like a servant or something. Pretty sure it'd be cool. Yes, I've watched. So I've watched parts of JoJo, but I've mostly read the series, like for at least from what I've experienced, and I've only read 1 through 3. I haven't read anything past 3. Do metal dragons eat Machias' food? Yes, they would. Elsie versus Kagura. I'd still give it to Kagura. Kagura still has better feats. Like her being able to do some stuff at the upper people, like block and parry some attacks from Larcade is actually really impressive. Like Elsie really just needs some damn feats, or at least some of the Galactica. I wish some of the Galactica would do something, or Interstellar, I guess, that would do something that would kind of raise the overall bar of them. You have something really cool, like if one of them did Sema. Like imagine if Elsie or Justice did Sema, or like pretty much just Summon a Meteor, and then I don't know, maybe Dead End Crow grabbed it and like threw it into the other direction, like literally grabbed it like a basketball and just chucked it. And it's like, okay, you can kind of scale other ones like up to that level because they should all be like, maybe he has the highest physical strength because he's so big, but they should all be somewhat relative to each other. So bam, you take that, you freaking scale up the whole group, give them all a boost. Yuhabak went out bad. Squad 0 did nothing. Oh, hey, accept Chibe. Hang on, don't do my boy Chibe like that. Shinsu Bankai did nothing. Stop! Uri decided Kira got shafted. That's true. Don't slander Shinsui. Don't slander Shinsui. We don't do that here. Shinsui's sick. I would agree that like even though we saw his Bankai, it was ultimately not effective against Lil Baro, but I mean it was fucking cool, man. Come on, and that wasn't fair. That wasn't an opponent he was going to regularly kill. Joel must have Dragon Knight to get some feats. I hope so. I would love to get Joel to get back in here and do some shit. Damari's a queen. Yeah, Damari has a huge fan base. Like Damari is like that with like Mirror Jane, where people and Brandish. Well, Brandish like skyrocketed past Mirror Jane in like simp fandoms. Like she's got the group. People love her. She's very popular. Let me see. I was like looking at some of the comments. I was seeing some of my stuff in here of like I was like looking at some, like I made a comment. Somebody made an edit of like Boruto, and he's got like Luffy's head, and I was like, Luffy's not gonna lose to somebody with a bedtime, and some Boruto stands seems a little salty at me. Let me see. Oh, some dude upset that I was talking about the stupid clock theory, but it's like he's like upset. It's like fiction, but it's like yeah, but it's like that's literally like what we talk about in Anti-Twitters. We like discuss fiction and shit. Why would I not discuss my points on like theories and aspects in fiction? Like that's goofy. Oh, there's a Spriggan anime coming out. That's neat. I don't know. I guess it's nothing to do with Fairy Tail, but it's something different. Quan's trying to make jokes. Quan gets salty when I bring up like Spriggan tier but it's like that's a tier. That's like talking about Supreme Devil or like Captain level or Wizard King level in like Black Clover, or Yonko level in One Piece or whatever. Okage, or I guess Kage level in Naruto. It's like, yeah, these series have tiers. So if like if characters don't meet up to certain tiers in a verse, so obviously like anybody in that tier, like you put it relatively anybody in Black Clover up against a Spriggan level character, and they're gonna get completely washed. Clock theory is false. Never happened. The clock theory is hiccup there again. The clock theory is stupid. The clock theory is like literally people just want to give Lucius some super broken ability, but it's like there's no logical way to beat him if he can see in the future and reverse time, because then you can never get the jump on him. Anytime he ever makes a blunder, just bam, reverse this time. You guys have got the whole plan and he somehow doesn't know about it. Bam, he's either going to reverse time so he knows about it, or he's going to future sight and see you coming. Like it's too much. Like especially like if you give Lucius casual time travel stuff, it's going to cause so many potential breaks in the series. Like, how does he not just time travel fix and like how could he ever lose if he could just time travel fix everything? How is it that like kind of situation ever gonna happen? Like, I could see something like maybe he does something and like during a certain like span, it's like, oh, he can reverse everything within a 3-minute time while the spell's active or something for X amount of time or something. Sure. But it's like people want him to just be able to like Doctor Strange casually reverse time like it's nothing, and it's just like that's such a bad idea because it will break the story if you give somebody like that such a unfounded ability with no counter. You know what happened to Madara when they made him too broken? They had to invent a stupid character like Kaguya. Maybe not fully invent, you know what I mean? It's like she's a little bit weird in vague areas. But like actually bring her in to audit, like just pop him like a freaking berry and then have him just become irrelevant that way. And then just have her be stupid and useless 99% of the time because she has like the battle IQ of a wet sponge. Branch is my favorite Spriggan. Yeah, a lot of people will put her for top Spriggan. Mine's Wall. I really like Wall. Urza versus Gray. I mean, Gray, I think Gray has like somewhere around a 3 to 4 out of 10 spot fight right now. My favorite character in Yu Yu Hakusho? Probably Kurama. Kurama or Hiei, I feel like, is probably like the regular go-tos. Hiei's cool, but like, I don't know. The overly edgy thing sometimes. Like, he's a right about that kind of area of edgy. I think for me, the thing about Hiei that always annoyed me was more of Hiei fans, though. Like, Hiei fans are really annoying. Because, like, Hiei fans think he's, like, the coolest character ever, and there's, like, no competition. Thoughts on Percival, no killing policy? I'm hoping that's something he works past. I'm hoping so bad that Percival works past it at some point. Because they can't have that when Arthur is a character. You can't have that with well, I guess he said that like he wouldn't do that with Pelagard because he doesn't hate Pelagard, whereas like he would kill, like he seems to hate Ironside and Arthur. So maybe he'd be fine with killing them. Wall's cool too. I'm a big fan of Wall. I thought Wall was really sick. You think Gravity Drain is too broken? Gravity Drain is a rough area. Like I need some form of limits on it. Something that it doesn't get too out of hand. Because that's the problem. Like, if it gets too out of hand, like, maybe, like, what if it's like he can only drain one additional ether gear at a time? Something like that. That would be fine. So it's like, if he wanted to get into their power, he has to give up a wormhole. But it's like, if Mishima just makes it so he can continuously stack powers, or what if it's like, because he's a machine, he can't use overdrive, but because of that, his body is able to have more than one ether gear? And it's like, okay, well, maybe he has Satan Gravity's arms, or like in one arm, and then he's got, and maybe like in his one of his legs, and then like a wormhole in another part or something, where it's like each one is taking up a percentage of his body. Like, I think Gravity Drain was a really weird addition. Because it's like, I mean, one, why does gravity let him drain the ether? It was weird. But it can become such a risky thing when you can give him such a free way to just stockpile powers and stuff. And especially if, like, he needs to then go at ones logically that makes sense. Like, he should be going for Wise at some point. At some point, he should be going for Wise and getting his Machina Maker because it's so good. Frieza was fine without going to hell if Beerus and Whis didn't bring him back. Yes, I agree. How strong do you think E&D at full powers against the Dragons? I think he's going to be stronger than all of them. I think he's going to be stronger than all of them based off the hype. I'm happy that we'll see Time User fight in Black Clover again. I mean, that's true. Time Magic people are really cool. What would you want Elsie and Justice to have similar or something new and crazier? I think it'd be cooler if they went kind of more like the older one that was in Wraith Master, where it's not one giant meteor, or it's not like one super fast meteor, kind of like how Irene had. It's like a meteor shower. Like, literally, a ton of small meteors just come crashing in. And instead of it being like one mega attack, it's just a wide range, almost like a carpet bombing of fucking, like, meteorites. Just like bam, 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 bam. Obviously, like, that's another series too, but it's just one, obviously, in the Mishima series that, is easier to reference. Just some big volley of meteorites just popping into the freaking area. Pelagard tried to burn Annie and his friends. That's true, but it's like he didn't seem to want to kill him. He seemed to just be attacking him. But I think Percival though can just kind of tell that he's not evil, and it's one of those things. But maybe it's more of like he hasn't seen that side of Pelagard, and Pelagard maybe will show something like that at some point. I don't know. Maybe after this point, he'll be like, I can't do that again. And they'll be like, hey, idiot, how about you don't, like, walk off and go pretty much get nabbed by one of the bad guys? And they'll be like, yeah, you're probably right on that one. Would you consider Zeref too broken given his abilities? Yeah, Zeref was like... was too broken, but it was only the fact that he wanted to... Like, he... Obviously, the stuff, like, the way he designed Natsu. But, like, the way that he wanted to fight him as well. It was one of those things that because of logical stuff set up in the plot... You weren't going to have those same broken problems. You weren't going to have those same things where it's like he's got this crazy array of abilities in his arsenal that he's just going to have to pull all over the place. Where it's like stuff like his time stop and whatnot, Natsu's immune to, Natsu can burn pretty much anything he could relatively throw his way, depending on like his power output and stuff. Whereas like like the hardship of like gravity drain would be stuff like why he needs to go for Machina Maker. It would make complete sense. Whether it goes for the old wise or the young wise, he should be going for him at some point, kill him and take his ether gear. Regardless if he succeeds, he should want to, because that's like literally the best ether gear for his army. Literally, there's no ether gear better than Wise's ether gear for Ziggy and like his whole setup. There's nothing better for him to get. Elsie is stupid getting fooled by Ziggy that easy. I think that the second time she was a bit dumb doing it. I get why, but I think like her, like she should have been like, I can't hesitate. Because like you know where he's at. You know what he's going to be like, he's going to be ready to do and what he's capable of and like where he's at mentally and like pretty much everything with his whole setup. I think that she was really foolish for letting him get to that point with him. I think that was not good on her part. I wish Zeref had a Madara moment where he fought multiple wizards from Fairy Tail at once and bodied them. He would have killed them. Like, he would have logically, by like Zeref, without having Natsu or somebody to kind of bring in that normal, kind of like regular, grounded personality of his, would have just been murdering people left and right. Like, Mishima would have had to put in characters that he was, like, certain with killing. Like, he was fine just absolutely, like, putting him in death spots. Because there's a difference between a character that will beat them up and then maybe do some bad guy further stuff later, and somebody that will outright just say, like, no, they're going to kill him. Like, this character doesn't make sense to let them live. And we know how Zeref was. Like, Zeref clearly did not give a shit if it meant, like, one, people that he didn't have any stock into, but also people that he knew would upset Natsu. Feat-wise, Elsie fighting Ziggy still impressive compared to Kagura fighting Larcade, who was barely trying. I mean, yeah, but the thing is, like, Larcade scales way higher than Ziggy right now. Like, Ziggy probably will be stronger in the end. Like, if I had to guess, I'd say, like, by the end, Ziggy will be more powerful. But, looking at right now, I'd say Larcade is stronger. But the thing is, like, Kagura has, like, dangerous abilities, like outright lives, like gravity manipulation. She's a way more skilled and experienced swordswoman. And Elsie, like, Elsie's moveset, I don't think is anything that Kagura would really have much of an issue on. Like, Kagura, like, or sorry, not Kagura. I think Elsie, like, as long as Elsie makes it out of the circle, I think Elsie will also probably be stronger by the end, because I feel like she's either... Well, no, because, like, Mishima said that, like, Justice and Elsie's storylines aren't going to go well. And I think either they're both going to die or Elsie's going to die and Justice will live. That's been my kind of stance on that this whole time. Justice is not better than Jalal. Jalal's way better. And power-wise, no. Jalal has a way better moveset. I like Justice, but Justice doesn't come close to Jalal. Like, not even close. Jenny Wakeman is a good reference for Jenny Reelite. I don't know if I know that reference. Blue Pegasus would have much cooler with Mecha Jenny or Wall's Takeover. I mean, yeah, but she needed to be within the area when he died for her to be able to, like, take his soul. That would have been cool, because logically she could have taken it and kept it, unlike the Aetherius, because the Aetherius would disappear with Zeref. Indeed, she can even touch Magic Bomber Christina, make a machinist soul out of it. Well, like, that's like a bolt, though. That's not a machine, but I guess it has, like, mechanical parts. But, like, does it I guess weird. It's like, does the machines with souls? It's kind of like a weird area, kind of hard to get in that same kind of spot with mentally, of, like... How does that work with, like, the machines and whatnot? I don't know. That is definitely, like, a bit of a strange one, I would say. Urza versus God's Serena. I think Urza now claps God's Serena. I think she'd be fine. And then Justice, when they tried to kill Shiki, was foolish as Seekheart when he tried to kill Ellie. Well, no, I think with Ellie, like, he fully believed the problem. His was foolish in more of a in, like, a lack of knowledge sense, where I think with Justice, for Justice's side, it made complete sense. Like, Shiki was somebody he saw as a problem. He was somebody connected to bigger, more dangerous people, and in his mind, he was just kind of like snuffing out a potential threat long before it got to the point where it really was an issue. Machina still might be the Machina Maker. Maybe. Oh, it might be like Machina Maker. A little bit. Machina Maker's a little different. Wall stronger than Wise, but if Wise touches Wall, it'd be really bad for Wall. I would assume that if it came down to that, it'd be one of those power level things where it's like, I think Wall being absurdly more powerful than Wise, his ability wouldn't work. Because otherwise, like, Wise should be able to just go touch, like, Crow or Aknoella or Ziggy and beat him. But I think if he tried, it'd be like a Clash of Ethers thing. Where it's like, whatever Ether ability he tried to use on them wouldn't work. Because their Ether is just way more powerful. Let me see. I'm going to scroll through Twitter again real quick so I can catch some of my comments before we get near the tail end of this. Oh, why people always gotta come in with a Goku? I don't want to talk about Goku. I'm hoping Sabo hurries up and gets to Fairy Tail. I think he'll like Natsu way more than Eren. Eren is just like, I don't know. Eren's kind of a bum. Didn't Crow look like Robot Brain? Not really. I don't see the resemblance. Brain is a very different facial structure. Like, what's weird is Crow looks like Victory way bigger. Like, he looks like a way bigger version of Victory. Seeker of Crow, could he fly? I wonder if he'd be like, I think it'd be really cool if it's like some of the characters are like what if he was like Crow was Victory from a different timeline where it's like he had the pretty much the worst possible ending and came over here or something. Seeker of Crow, could he fly because of how else he's gonna get around? That's a good point. I never really thought about how he got there. Oh no, he was on Lendard, right? He was already on Lendard. Maybe he just walks. Maybe he's been sitting there this whole time, or he just walks around, I guess. Flying would be, oh dude, what if he's like a transformer? What if he turns into a ship? That would be sick. And then he has kind of like I'm trying not like a Unicron style. I'm trying to think of like, is it Master Computer from Tron where it's like in a room, it's just Crow's face as like this big operating computer, and he's just like ready to talk to him. You think it's dumb that Armin and Warriors forgave Eren for genocide and killing their friends? Yeah, that was really stupid. That was super stupid. Victory in Titan's arm would feel small to Crow. I mean, yeah. Eren and Saitama are overrated. Saitama, though, like, I think people forget, like, Saitama is, like, a goofy character, but it's like, you have to look at him other two ways. Either he's a gag character that one-shots everybody because he's a gag character, or it's like, if you actually want to look at a power level standpoint, it's because he's like he's hyped up planetary, and every other character in the series is like not even remotely like within range of him. And even like the biggest threats, like what is it, like the one big monster that Tatsumaki or whatever fought, where it's like she cut a chunk or whatever off the planet, like, you know, skimmed like a slice off, but it's not like she was gonna blow up the whole planet, where it's like somebody actually a threat to the planet, like, you know, somebody like Saitama wanted to could have just one-shot her. But anyway, I'm going to call it good here. We're about 3 hours. We're a few minutes under. I said about 3 hours, but I mean, it's hot. I got to get water. I got to take a shower. It's been hot out here, and I've been sweating. So it's like, I want to get out of this chair and go and take a shower or some shit, because I guess this is too much. Like, 3 hours was good. I'm going to try and do some more streams again as well. And I want to do more stuff on my Twitch. I plan on doing some game things, like I said. I'm going to probably... Because one thing I want to do is I have to upgrade Streamlabs. I have to get, like, the upgraded Streamlabs, the actual one where you got to pay. And I got to figure out, like, is it, like, one of those ones where it's... Actually, I think you pay for Streamlabs by default. It's, like, $5. Like, so maybe if, like, the better one is, like, maybe, you know, another $5, then I can get it. Because it'll let you stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And that way I can stream on YouTube and Twitch, you know, get more people on Twitch, grab more people on the YouTube to say, like, hey, come over and hang out and do stuff. And then eventually, like, migrate more of the gaming stuff more to Twitch. Just because, like, it's easier to get people, obviously, here to do it. And then instead of moving on over there immediately. But yeah, one thing I'm going to do tonight is I want to get at least one more badge and one more emote. So I got one more shill before I go. One more quick shill. Okay? If you want to be a member, there's only 2 tiers. There's a $1 tier and a $2 tier. You get a badge and you get access to emotes. With The first one, you get prioritized comments, so I can see your comments over ones. And then the second one, there are polls that will determine videos. I still got to get on the old tier when I'm a little bit behind. I was having issues with my editing software, and I'm trying to figure out a new one. And I'm going to get, once I get one, I'm going to get back to the old tier video. And the next video that I'm going to do, I'm going to hold a poll in the next few days. So if you want to become a member, you can click join and have a say in whatever the vote is. So it's like if I get a new member, even today just one, I'll do the poll today. And we'll do one maybe on like, maybe we'll do another character one and we'll put some bad guys on there. Because like the next one is old tier, but obviously old tier is a little bit kind of all over the place. But maybe we can do one with just villains and I could do a cool villain one. And I'll let you guys pick. So if you want to pick $2 a month, again, it's optional. Like whichever one the people pick, there'll be a video regardless. But it's gonna come from the people who are members that get to vote. Like I said, it's only $2. And if you want to get it 1 month and say the next month you don't really feel like being a member, where it's like maybe you want to be in one for 1 month, but the next month you want to come back, and maybe another month you want to go, you can. It's all right there. They're cheap. It's an option. It's all just additional content. It's nothing that's gonna be. I don't want to have anything paywalled or anything like that. But anyway, other than that, you guys have a good night. It's Thursday. I don't know if Josuke's streaming. I haven't heard from him. I think he's been super busy. But other than